Big up, big up, big up, big up, and welcome to the Liberal 12th Man Show. I am Liberal 12th Man, and we are joined today by some, always got the regulars on the show, but we got some guests on the show that are pretty much their family, so they're regulars, We got KB in the house, and we got Irishman, and we got Lee. Quasi, how are you doing today?
Big up yourself. Big up to everybody. Long time no see.
Long time no see. Yeah. you do your right now we're in the same time zone, so like
Yeah.
But you do your shows at like 6:30 in the morning here, and I'm just like, that is commitment. So big up to you, brother. Big up to you.
I'm trying to jump on, trying to catch up to you.
Yeah. Irishman, how are you doing today?
Very well. Good to be on with the boys, with Quasi and Lee.
Yeah. Lee, how are you doing today?
I'm very, very well today. Greetings and salutations to everybody in the chat. Looking forward to tonight. We've got plenty to talk about. Plenty to think about and talk about. Lots to chew over, haven't we, guys?
Trust me. Yes, we do. We probably will be joined also pretty soon by another guest panelist, but also a family member here on the show. But let's just really get into the show as we speak, because you're right. We do have a bunch of stuff to get into. I have some LC news hot topics, I guess you could call them. And what I know for sure is that we've been speaking on, we talked on it yesterday. We spoke on it even the day, or not yesterday, but earlier this on the weekend. And we were talking about, maybe if there's no exits from this team, there probably will be no, signings for this team. If there's no exits, because there'll be no room. But one player that is looking like it's going to be coming to an end with his time here at Liverpool is going to be, unfortunately, a player that did, really did do his best, and also was had high praise or had high potential, but simply it was during the Kabak and during the Ben Davies era when we really needed a center back. We were really, really hurting during that time. And that's Rhys Williams. I think Rhys Williams has been reported that it is most likely he's going to be possibly the first or one of the names that actually is going to be going through the exit door, I guess you could call it, this summer. And he wasn't on he's not on the preseason plans. He wasn't part of even any of the preseason games that we've already started to go into. Not preseason games, but these little warm-up games that we're doing behind closed doors. So it looks like he will be the first to be exiting. I don't know if you guys is that a problem for anyone? Is anyone like Rhys Williams needs to stay, or is that something that you foresaw? Quasi, is that something
he needs to go somewhere else? Don't need to have his career. He's not going to get a look in the first team, is he?
No, it's not. He's definitely not. That's
I just say something about Ben Davies when we got him. When we got back on loan and we got Ben Davies, never in my life have I felt sorrier for Jurgen Klopp when he had to come out and he said to the press, he said, I was stunned when I found out that Ben Davies was available for only £500,000. He said, I was knocked out and I felt really sorry for him. That was the point where it was like, I've liked that about FSG as owners. Before that, I'd never thought ill of them. But when we resorted to that, Ben Davies and Klopp had to come out and actually say that out loud to the newspapers. I felt really sorry for the man to have to say that he was stunned and knocked out that Ben Davies was available for only £500,000. I felt like crying, actually, like in a way.
Yeah, that's not exactly.
Can you explain further? Can you explain further? What do you mean 500,000? As we selling him for 500,000, we buying for 500,000?
Buying him. When we bought him for $500,000.
That's a good business, isn't it?
It is. But poor old Klopp had to pretend that like he was this wonderful player, and you knew that he was just desperate for them to buy him, an actual player that he might use in the future. And he was just frustrated that all he got was Kabak and Ben Davies. I felt really sorry for the man. It's the one time I've ever seen him look a fool. He knew he looked a fool saying those words to the media. about how
But
excited he was about
but
Ben
Lee,
Davies.
Lee at
I
that
just wasn't
time,
feeling it.
Klopp was in charge of what comes in. Nobody was telling him what to do. So he picked the player. If he didn't want him, he would have said, "I don't want him." He's
Well, there
done
was
that before.
Coletta Car, wasn't there? We were linked with Coletta Car, and apparently he got to the airport or something, and then Klopp changed his mind. I don't know. But it was a
Yeah, that
dire,
was the old
desperate
regime.
time. It was torture. Those few months, it was absolute torture because we were going to get that. We were going to retain the title, no problem, until Pickford done his thing, and then to see what
Well,
happened
the thing
after.
is, we have to look at it this way. On the right side, it's like when Kane was in Tottenham, you got Trent. You bring in somebody in who's just going to sit on the bench. That's very hard. So you're not going to get that very, very good player who's like right behind Trent because that player wants to play. So to them, calculating risk, it was good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. I think Quasi got possibly someone might have. Quasi's a busy man, and he's in the office. So he might be taking care of some business right there.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. I was just saying. I was just finishing saying that Liverpool, you have a good player like Trent. Trent doesn't get injured often, so you bring in a player, you have to bring in an up and coming player like Bradley did. So they work their way up. If you bring a player who's like close to Trent, there's gonna be disharmony. And Klopp always said it. Players like Origi, Minamino, or even Simicas, they don't pull up a fuss. So he loved those type of players because they knew what their role was. So I thought, I don't know whether what you said, you know what the whole situation is. Personally, the business was great because if this kid becomes great and you decide to sell it, you make more money. But that's what
The
I
business
think.
was excellent. I mean, we made money. We made a considerable amount of money off of the sale of a player that didn't play a minute for us. If you're talking about Davies, at least, and I mean that's excellent business considering it was a player that obviously we didn't ever really got anything going on when it comes to on the pitch, but still we ended up profiting from it in the end to possibly garner a new deal or another deal with someone else. But that's not the big news. I mean, Reece Williams isn't. I mean, like, I wish him the best if when they do make that decision. I think he's a good player, or a good kid, and everything. And I wish him the best. It always doesn't work out the way that you foresee it working out when it comes to young players. But there is a name and a report that I wanted to bring up, and this is again hot topic news. I wanted to see how the panel will go. And we'll go on this. We'll just go around the horn. Welcome, JK, too, by the way. JK has just entered the building. How you doing, JK?
I'm all good, bro. How you are, guys? Quasi 12.
Big up, my brother. How you doing?
Yes.
All good, bro. Lee.
Right,
how you are, bro?
And we'll just go around the horn. We'll go KB, Irishman, JK, and then we'll end with Lee. This news is probably going to not. I know this has kind of been filtering back and forth a little bit. You can take it with all the grains of salt that you want, I guess you say, but I'm going to bring this up right here. So apparently Trent has agreed, quote unquote, to a Real Madrid deal. Trent Alexander has agreed to join Real Madrid on a free transfer in the summer of 2025, according to a report in Spain.
Yeah.
From Madristas, right?
This report is from Toto
Bullshitio.
Toto Bichajaz?
Oh, Toto Fejas.
Yes, there you go.
Middle name talks too much.
Okay. They claim that Madrid's deal to land the Liverpool right back is complete, and he will arrive in Spain when his contract expires next year. The report states that Madrid attempted to open negotiations with the Reds over a transfer for Trent this summer, but opted against a move owing to Liverpool's asking price. That was what they are reporting. So again, let's just go around the horn here. Quasi, what's your what's your kind of reaction to hearing that?
All right. First of all, I don't think I don't think it's true.
Right.
Let's just debunk it. I don't think it's true. It's just people
Debunked.
people just trying to rile Liverpool fans, especially the ones who are get easy riled up. Number two, I don't know if this is a shot at Trent, but I'm at the point where if you are with Liverpool, you are 110% with Liverpool. You're not looking elsewhere because we are not that Liverpool before club, right? So the best players that we have for whatever, either you sign or keep moving. And I don't fault Trent trying to go to Real Madrid. Hey, feed your children, feed your family. You already won something with Liverpool. If you want to go elsewhere, hey, thank you for all you've done for us. But I would not want Trent to string us along until January. Then we're like, oh, I'll let you know if I want to sign a contract. I want to stay, but it's not up to me. I'm done with those tactics, the Coutinhos and those type of things. Now, it's not Trent's fault. It's not Salah's fault. It's not VVD's fault that Liverpool was incompetent to sign them down to a new contract. But now we're here. Since we are here, I want Trent to sign a new contract. If he doesn't, sell him. I mean, but that's my opinion. But the news that's coming from Madrid, oh, those guys can shove it.
Okay. Irishman, is your reaction to hearing this news are you worried a little bit, or do you take it for just as you call it a bullshit video or something like that?
Well, that story I'll take, but pretty much word for word what Quasi said. Do you want to stay? No. Okay, see ya. Don't care who you are. Don't care what the name on the back of your shirt is. Don't want to play for Liverpool. You want to go to Madrid? See ya. That's it. Bye bye. We were here before you. We'll exist long after you. You know, we had great times together. If you're fully committed to Liverpool, you want to sign. Again, I'm with Quasi. It was criminal. The Salah one is to do with Salah probably wanting to leave. 1 year left. Okay, fine. The VVD one, probably him being a little bit hesitant and seeing how things are going. Not ideal, but okay, fine. Letting Trent get to 1 year left on his deal, criminal. Absolutely criminal. And I was on a show earlier on with Rods, and it was sort of like, well, look at Richard Hughes. I mean, Richard Hughes only came in the door. He was 1 year left when Richard Hughes got here. It's the previous people that didn't tie Trent down 2 years ago, or a year or 2.5 years ago, or a year ago. A massive. So all the Klopp stuff with him leaving maybe gets in the way of that. But Trent should never have been allowed to get to the stage where I can walk in a year, because when you can walk in a year, this is Madrid doing Madrid things. Saying, look, it's exactly what they did with Lenny Yoro. We'll take you in a year. We're not going to pay a huge amount of money for you right now. We'll take you on a free. You sit tight. You run your contract down. And guess what, Boyle? You're on a free, so you can just about double that wage. He's getting 400 on a free transfer. He's getting 400. I guarantee he's getting 400 grand a week. Oh, and by the way, do you want to play with Bellingham, Mbappe, Hendrick? Come on.
You want to play for your best friend?
And like Quasi said, I do not blame. If I just want him to come out tomorrow and say, I will not sign a new deal at Liverpool because I've had an amazing career here, but I've always wanted to test myself somewhere else later in my career if I achieved my goals at Liverpool, i.e. winning the league and the Champions League. I've achieved those. I now want to go and play for Real Madrid. Come out and say it. Be honest, and people will respect you more. Like Quasi said, none of this stringing you along and stringing on Coutinho type behind the back. No. Come out, be honest, and say, I'm going to sign a deal, or I'm not going to. FSG need to come out and say, here's 350 grand a week, or here's 300 grand a week, or whatever it is. We have offered him the world. We've offered him everything he wanted, and he said no. It needs to be framed like that, or else if it looks like, FSG didn't come to me with a contract, so I went to Madrid. No. You know, he needs to be made to come out and say, no, I've turned down the offer of a deal because I want to leave. And if he wants to leave, because he said, thanks for the memories, see you later on down the line.
Okay. How about you, JK?
For me, I've always said this. When he came on the scene, I was more excited about this guy than, say, Salah, Mane, Virgil, Alisson. You know, I thought, yo, this guy is Steven Gerrard level in the future, maybe, you know. And I feel that in the last 2 years, he's wasted his career. Hence why he never got a game at the Euros right now. Maybe, you know. He wasn't great last season. He did start it off well, but sort of got injured and then it fell apart. And also, when you judge the videos he's made with the new kit on, like LFC have put some videos up on YouTube, his body language seems to be that he seems happy to be in that environment. That's how I've seen it. So I'm going with that. So if anything changes, yeah, that's probably like he's going to get what Brian just said about if he goes as a free agent, he's going to get 400k a week. You know, compared to Liverpool, I think Liverpool would offer him about 300.
Yeah,
I believe if they're going to give him a new contract, it's going to be about 300.
Yeah,
And I still feel that's a good number. You know,
it's an excellent number. Yeah,
and
I do it. I sign it.
Yeah,
I do it for free.
Yeah, I do it for free. All of us did. We're the true Liverpool fans here.
Right.
Yeah, but for me, wasted talent, and he needs to sort what position he wants to play out first. That's how mad that situation is. The guy don't know where he wants to play on the football pitch, and if you can't sort that out, you got no chance of having a good career, bro.
How about Lee? How about you? What's your take on this news or on the situation with that Trent is in currently with not having a new deal?
First of all, I have to reiterate what Brian said just before, how it got to this point where he's a year away from his contract. I don't know how it got to this point, how that was allowed to sneak by people's attention, that we haven't got him on a longer contract. And we should have had him on a longer contract ages ago, not like last summer or something. It should have been done when we won the Champions League or something. I don't know. It should have been done ages ago. But what I will say is, remember I said yesterday when Steve McManaman left for the free to Real Madrid, I didn't hold it against him. And I remember pretty soon after joining them, he won the Champions League and scored in the Champions League final, and I was all over it. I was like, yeah, go on, man.
2 finals.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and I wasn't bothered, mate, because he's a local lad, and I was just like, it wasn't his, but it's not like he set it up like that, you know what I mean? It's the way it went. But I'd be disappointed to lose Trent, but we have got Bradley, we've got Gomez, there's the other fella, Preston, or whatever, he's gone on loan, Calvin Ramsey. It's not like we haven't got right backs, and it's not like right backs aren't available. But if we don't get a fee, it might bother some people, won't bother me. As long as we know, as long as he's honest and says he's going and doesn't leave it, doesn't just not say anything and then leave, then announce that he's leaving, really late in the day. It wouldn't be a good look if he announced it in the day.
Yeah, you owe the fans honesty and just upfront and honesty, and everyone come out and say what it is they want, and everyone will be fine.
He's won everything there is to win. He's won everything there is to win with us, and he didn't cost us a fee. So at the end of the day, if he does leave, that's his choice, and as long as we know about it, more power to his elbow. I hope he succeeds there if he goes.
Yeah, I understand.
We want him to stay. We all want him to stay. He's a terrific player.
Well, let's I'll bring up another player that I think, or at least myself, I can't speak for the panel on the chat, obviously, but I will speak for myself, someone that I would like to see stay. And that is Mohamed Salah has been voted the winner of Liverpool's Standard Chartered Men's Player of the Season award, which is very interesting considering that there probably could have been. I think there could have been other candidates that could have probably had a pretty strong say in this award. I personally would have thought that Virgil, in my opinion, would have won this award this year, considering that Virgil was available for pretty much the entire year, and also he was very, very influential in winning us our only trophy of the year. But Mohamed Salah has won this. Played 3,130 minutes, 44 appearances, 25 goals over all those appearances. He won. started off really well this year by winning September, October, and November Player of the Month for us, and also won the Premier League award for Player of the Month in October. But obviously, we all know that his production dipped after the injury from AFCON and the likes. Do you think? I'll go around the horn again. I'll start with KB, and then we'll just go around the horn again. Do you think that this award is rightfully put for him to win, or do you have another person that you thought should have won Player of the Season, buddy?
This one is a PR award. In terms of a Player of the Season, we have so many inconsistencies in Liverpool. Somebody will play well for 2 months and then they'll fall off.
Mm-hmm.
Salah started slowly but picked it up, and then he dropped off after AFCON. Everybody knows McAllister is the best.
Yeah, Daryl's
technically the best player.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Timmy's got Virgil or McAllister.
Actually, Virgil and McAllister, I believe, were the two most consistent players. McAllister started off slow. Virgil was on point. He had a few, a foul here.
Joe Gomez, in his own way, has a shout at that. If you pick out Joe Gomez,
that's a shout. That's a
big shout. That's a shout.
The way it unfolded is just his consistency. He was consistent, like in every role he was employed in. Right back, left back, and centre back.
The thing is, we didn't have knowing Liverpool's height, we didn't have the players who were so consistent for 90% of the season. So Virgil, I would say maybe 80, 85. McAllister, 75, 80, close to 85. Gomez, 80, 85, because he was everywhere, right?
Right.
It was a massive shock for Mo to be injured. It's just very un-Mo to be injured. It was like, what? He's out there.
Yeah, we had a lot of injuries.
And then it just lingered on, and we were like, what? Yeah. Who's injured? How did that happen? Both of them get injured.
Yeah. What's the name? Same thing with Jota. Jota picked up some steam, and then he got injured. So it's very hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, personally, I don't think it should be Salah, but I think somebody else should have.
Well, then who would you put? It's your world. Tell us who you would put up there.
The captain deserves it. McAllister deserves it. Oh, Gomez deserves it. Those three.
Okay, only one can win. You got to pick one. Who's your
Virgil?
Pick? Virgil, I got you. Okay. Irishman. Who do you think this is rightfully awarded, or do you have another candidate that you would think is more deserving?
This is the standard chartered Liverpool Player of the Season, right?
Yep. So it's like the in-house. Yeah, it's the in-house thing.
Exactly. So there you go. So this is what's called advertising and marketing. We spoke about this yesterday. Standard Chartered pay an awful lot of money to sponsor our club. So when they release the Standard Chartered Player of the Season, which player do you want to attach to that? Do you want to attach Joe Gomez to that, or do you want to attach one of the world's most visible footballers? So that the name Standard Chartered is now officially intertwined with Mo Salah. So it's Standard Chartered Mo Salah. That's what this is all about, right? So if we skip over that and just forget that bit, and we're thinking it was a meritocratic award, then no, I'm with Quasi right up until, because we did speak about, I think right up until around springtime, I was saying he will never win it, but Joe Gomez should get Player of the Season because of everything Quasi was saying, that the way he was filling in left back, right back, centre, doing everything. It allowed us Robbo to be out and Simicast to be out and not really miss a beat. Again, we didn't do well in the end, but his minutes dropped off, which is the only reason I wouldn't give him the overall award. But for the first half of the season, when we had those injuries, he was crucial to us staying in the hunt and being in all those competitions. So I was definitely giving it. I think like he would have got the kind of the honorable mention award, but they were always going to give it to a bigger player that had done well. But I would be just over the course of the entire season, as soon as Endo came in, then McAllister, we saw the best of him. We saw the worst of him last week, but we saw the best of him over the season due to Endo coming in. So I think just on the bones of that, I just give it to McAllister. But I don't. If it wasn't for Gomez, we could have been 7th or 8th in December.
Yeah.
He did a great job for us.
Okay.
It's the story of Joe's comeback that made it so for me, made him our player of the season.
Yeah.
Everything's right for it to be that way. Like last season, not last season, the one before, the Real Madrid thing and that, and everyone thought he was finished, and he did look finished at that point. I thought, I don't want to see him again ever in any position, and he proved me wrong, mate. You know what I mean? He proved me wrong last season after the Real Madrid thing and that. He proved me wrong. I was made up. I was happy for him.
Okay. JK, what about you? Who's your player of the season, basically? Do you agree with this, or do you think that Standard Chartered comes to you and says, "Hey, you know what? We're gonna let you be the person that chooses who it is, who represents it." Who are you going?
Yeah, I'm going with Gomez.
Joey,
because I believe without him, we wouldn't have reached, say, going into the new year, the chance of winning everything. I think he stepped up big time. And when we needed him, he was the guy.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't. I did not expect so many votes to be for Joey J. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
That shows you how much of a. I would say he's certainly the comeback player of the year. He's certainly the comeback player of the year. I'd give him that award, but
real football fans here, man. Real fans here, not flashy name fans. Real fans.
Yeah. We're not Standard Chartered here.
Yeah, I don't rate Standard Chartered anyway. Yeah, we need to change the title anyway. But
for me, Virgil as well. Virgil, for me, top season until, as Brian said, the spring came. He sort of died at the end of the season. He wasn't great, but the rest of the season, he was top. But consistently, I'm going for Gomez. Yeah.
I mean, you gotta give credit where credit's due. The main reason why we have any trophy to hold on to from last year is because of Virgil. Let's be honest.
True.
Tried to scored once. They took it away on some BS, and then he said, "You know what? Hold my beer. I'll be right back."
Yeah, it's a team effort, but it was literally Virgil's trophy, wasn't that? What he said to the linesman as well after he scored, like the actual winner after being denied for the most vague, ridiculous, pathetic, reasons.
That was a horrible call. Horrible call. Literally happened. The very next weekend happened in a Premier League game, and they decided the other way. They decided to go the other way with it.
That's called learning. That's called learning.
Yeah, I guess so, right? I guess so. Oh man. Well, I have this next topic, which is become a hot topic recently. It's a player that I've really, you guys know that I like Kubo, and I think that for various reasons, but Kubo's a player I'm excited. I would be excited to see join the club. He brings a lot of dynamics I think would really fit, especially in a slot system as well. Slot likes wingers that can really dribble and take on players, especially with progressive dribbles and progressive carries. And Kubo is one of those players. And lately, I woke up this morning and all I saw, I saw Lawrence, I saw Enz, I saw Fabrizio, I saw all these big names, out there with Kubo. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, it was one of those things where I was like, is this a situation where because of our inactivity, and something I brought up on Enz's show too, because of our inactivity, is this story a bigger story than it actually is, because we haven't had any transfers as of late, really any big name transfers as of late, other than obviously Rio, which is a big transfer in a way. But
also a small transfer.
is that
But also a small transfer.
a small transfer, but also a big transfer?
Not,
I mean, yeah,
it's a big one, but
it's a big one when it comes to youth players and you know, prospects. But
people are still waiting for that big name.
That big name, right? That big 50, 60 million, pound transfer, if not more. Some people are even thinking 80 to 100 million pound transfer. But I was thinking, Kubo. Does Kubo one? I'll layer this question. Does Kubo one excite you to say yes? That's the player I'd be happy to see this player join the team. Or is he not the player that you think is the level of player that we want to have on this team? Again, keep in mind, don't detach yourself from thinking about Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool, and put it in a mindset of what I know. And I know we haven't had a real grasp of what we're going to see from Slot, other than if you've already seen his play in the Dutch league, but a new take on this right wing. So I'm asking, is Taki? Do you take? It's Taki Fuso, but it's spelled Take. So do you take Kubo or do you not take Kubo on this team? KB.
You heard my thing on Ensman. The first one is the whole report came from Japan. When you translate the report, the Japanese is saying it came from Europe. Europeans are also saying it came from Japan. So when those type of reports starts to happen, I know somebody's making it up, and they're throwing it all over the place. Because when you read, somebody did the direct translation, and it did not make sense. It's like Liverpool are thinking perhaps maybe to do this thing. The report comes from Europe. So, but in terms of, it's
lost your mic. You're not on mute. I know that. Oh, there he is. Okay, well, KB, we'll come back to you. We'll come back because KB I know has something. His feed just went out, but KB definitely wasn't agreeing on this move. But JK, I'll go to you, JK. What are your thoughts then? Are you going to take Kubo or not take Kubo?
I like the way he plays. He's going to be professional because majority of Asian players don't mess about off the field and stuff like that. Very disciplined. So that part, I think he'll settle in straight away. But quality-wise, I like the guy. I think he's a good little right winger, And the thing is that who else is going to replace Salah in the future? That's the question, Who's out there? This is one guy whose name pops up. There's not very many, are there? Right wingers who are like top draw. So for me, not bad player.
Okay. Irishman, what's your take?
Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed to hear that now from Quasi because if you've been around the block enough times, that's a classic one where it's reports in the Japanese press are saying, and then when you read the thing, it's like the Japanese press are saying reports in Europe. That's like, instant red flag that it's, a bit of nonsense. But someone there in the chat is saying that the Liverpool fan in Japan is saying that it's a real deal. I know he's decent show. I don't know. So again, if we kind of skip past all the media bullshit part of it, let's say just that he is a player we're interested in. Of course, he's someone we should be going for. It's a position that we have needed to strengthen, but you can't strengthen because you've got the world's most unbreakable player, Mo Salah, in that position. Right. And even with a slot team, he's going to be playing a similar type of role anyway. But again, it's someone. I mean, Jaden Philogene is the player that I would have wanted us to bring in, but Aston Villa activated their buyback clause on him, I think yesterday, to bring him back to the club. And
Yep.
Kubo is a very, very similar, very skillful, tricky right winger. Dribbles for days, all that kind of stuff. The kind of player that that that's who I'd like to see. That type, that profile. So someone like Kubo, he was one of those kind of, oh, is he a flash in the pan? But he goes to Madrid, doesn't quite work out like it doesn't for a lot of them. But he's gone now and he's rebuilt. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if we can get him, it depends on the money. I can't imagine it's going to be huge
Hmm.
because he's at Sociedad. So I'd love to see a player of that profile because that's what you want to see is really exciting, attacking, tricky flair type players. That's what we want to see. So, but we've got, like we said it last night, man. With the clock is ticking. There's less than a month
It is
now,
taken.
so we've got to get some people in the door soon
Yeah.
and get their feet under the table, get them accustomed and acclimatized because we're going to be starting games quicker than we know it. And I think we're going to be starting our first game this season. I reckon, by the looks at this stage, it looks like it'll be similar to an 11 that finished last season. To me, at this point, it really does. Maybe Slot isn't like Klopp because the Klopp would like, oh, I need 6 months to get a player into my team. Maybe Slot is different. He can bring someone in and within a couple of weeks, it's okay, cool, you're ready to go. Maybe again, forget the Klopp era, But again, I think it's a little bit late now to bring in a starting number, whatever.
Okay. Lee, what is your take on Taki? Do you take or not take Kubo?
Not taken now because they want us to spend the money elsewhere. If Mo's
Okay.
leaving, if Mo definitely leaves to Saudi and then we have to replace him, but unless Mo's leaving, then no, because we need to buy in other areas first.
True.
To be honest, you could write what I know about Kubo on the back of a matchbox.
Me too.
Japanese international plying trade in Basque country. That's about all I know about the man.
Tricky winger, basically.
Yeah,
Tricky
I've
winger.
not even
What
seen
we
him.
used to
I've only
call a tricky winger back
highlights
in the day.
reel. I've not seen anything of him. Like, to be honest, I've never heard of him. Like, I've heard of him a while back, but I've still never seen him. I heard of him last summer, but I've never seen him, so I can't really say.
Japanese Messi, all them vibes.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
like I
that
can.
kind of.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna let Quasi give his opinion, but I do have a retort for Quasi for when he's finished. We can go back and forth a little bit for those that disagree, but I have some stats and some things that we can bring up as well for him as well. But go ahead, Quasi. Go ahead. While you're speaking, I'm gonna put some of these
Okay.
stats.
So everybody, okay. So this is the thing with me. Brian, I think Fabrizio also came in and said he's not even sure what's going on with that part.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then another person
Excuse me.
said,
Okay.
yeah, somebody also said that it was premature. But in terms of the player profile, the thing that and Brian, this is where now my focus have shifted. If Liverpool needs to win the league, certain players that won us the league can't do it again. They can't do it anymore. Let's just say they can't do it anymore. They're not gonna get us there because they've tried since they haven't done it, right? So when people say Salah, I'm like, well, the best of Salah is back in the day. We haven't seen that Salah in a while. So if you bring in a player in and they say, oh, he's just going to replace, he's going to be an understudy to Salah, so that means you are not ready to win the league. Because if you bring in a player in, that player needs to tell Salah, I'm the captain now. I'm taking over. My condolences, just like Kwanzaa did. You see what I mean? So that is what Liverpool, I believe, the players, the profile of players Liverpool needs to be going for. The players that is going to take us to the next level with Salah, with Virgil, with Alisson, and the Trent. But if we bring in people who are below them, then that means you are not going for the league. You're just going for where you were the year before. You're just trying to keep the status quo. Now, Kubo itself, when I heard of him, when he was a sensational, the Japanese Messi, dribble very fast, he's quick, he can make a fool out of you. But his end product was never there. That's why it didn't happen too well at Real Madrid. Now,
We
of
were
course,
first linked with him last season, weren't we? Last summer, exactly a year ago, when it was rumoured Mo might leave for Saudi with a big bid coming in. He was one of the first names mentioned that went through the rumour mill. Kubo, and I have to say, I still haven't seen him. Like, I've not seen Sociedad. We do have a little relationship with Sociedad because John Toshak managed them, and we bought Xabi Alonso off them. They are a known club to us, like, to have dealings with. He's done quite well, John Toshak, as Sociedad manager. Yeah, he's well thought of there.
So yeah, and the thing is with me, I'm looking at it like, okay, if we bring Kobo, hey Kobo, I need you to take Salah out because at the end of the day, guess who win? Liverpool. Because then you have two players played at the highest level competing to play. That helps the club. That does not help only one player because Salah plays at the highest level. Who's winning? Liverpool. Kubo plays at the highest level. Who's winning? Liverpool. But if you ask me if that's the player I want, no. I want a Nico Williams. I want a Musiala. I want a Cava from Napoli.
It's a needle moving thing for you. You're saying, yeah.
Yes. You see what I mean?
Kubo doesn't move the needle for you.
Thank you. Exactly. Because Liverpool, where we are right now, we are not far off. We are literally 3 players to be able to look Pep in the eye, look Arteta in the eye. We are not far off. Klopp left the club in a better place than he found it. So if we're gonna bring players in, they have to move needles. We can't do.
We're not asking a lot. I don't think we're asking a lot as a fan base to have a new centre half and a new number 6. We're okay with our attackers. Most of us agree that we don't need new attackers unless one is definitely leaving. I'm good with the ones we've got. And with Jadon Dans and Carvalho as backup to the 5 established attackers we've already got, I'm good with that. What I want to see is a number 6, a good number 6 that we'll keep for a good few years, and a centre half to replace Mata.
And then also, and the thing also, I know 12 man got his stats ready. His stats.
I got my stats ready. I definitely got my stats ready.
His stats is no better than Diaz, and people want Diaz out. You know, he doesn't score a lot of goals. He doesn't give a lot of assists.
Sure.
He's a problems. They cause problems. They are mavericks that cause problems so that other people can do something else. Hopefully, Slot can figure it out with Diaz. Because if you go back 5 years before Diaz came to Porto, he never scored a lot of goals. He had one good season where he scored a lot of goals and had a lot of assists. And then the following 6 months later, he was at Liverpool. So I don't know why we bring in another Diaz when people want Diaz out. Now, the needle movers, even Lee, I will even accept that we don't need a new center back if we get a dominant Diaz.
Well, yes, I understand those parts, but staying with just our right wing, which is what we're talking about here, because let's be honest, Salah is eventually going to move on. We all understand that, whether it's at the end of this year, whether it's in 2 years, 3 years, he's still eventually going to move on to another club, on to Saudi Arabia, or on to maybe a PSG, or maybe he does move on to Real Madrid or something along those lines. But for now, he is with Liverpool, and we've all said that we want something Brian spoke of yesterday when I asked him what was the number of, I asked the panel, and Brian included, what was the number of players we want in as defenders, as goalkeepers, defenders, midfielders, and forwards. And his statement was, we want to back up, or we want coverage for every position. We honestly really don't have a right wing backup. No. Doak was going to be that. Unfortunately for Doak, he got injured. And I mean, and that was going to probably be because it would have worked out. And I'm going to bring up some other points too, and I'll allow for you guys to comment too. It was going to work out for Doak in that relationship, and because Doak is a young player. Obviously, you're not expecting too much from him, but also because of the amount of minutes that Salah already gets, it wouldn't have been terrible to have Doak as a right wing backup, because chances are, one, Salah rarely gets injured. He's usually available. The only time that we were really going to necessarily need to figure out a right wing solution would have been during his AFCON stay, and that was the mindset going in for Jurgen's team, at least. That was the mindset, I believe, that we were trying to hold. But where I disagree with some of these Quasi's points about this not being a needle mover is that one of the things that we missed from Salah's game, this player brings, and that is that progressive carries, those ability to attack. Now, I will say, I said the same point too on Enza's show. I think that often we associate players, we associate players to high standards or bars from the previous player that was in that role. So when we talk about a lot of the disdainment for Diaz is often associated the fact that he doesn't bring Mane vibes, and this player is going to have a huge shadow to hold, or to overcome in Salah. I get that. I'm not expecting him to score in the numbers of Salah.
That'd be
I'm not
stupid.
expecting those things.
Is Kubo?
That'd be stupid to expect Salah. Salah came out and just blew goal scoring records out of the water. Anybody's expecting someone to come in. He doesn't score like Salah does. No, man, come on.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm trying to put. But
I know what you're saying. Any of those people, they really. Yeah, sorry, you go ahead. Sorry.
No. By one single player. It won't be that when Mo's replaced like for like by one single player. When he does go, he'll be replaced by moving the whole thing around, the whole forward line around. I'm interested to know what some of our fans think about whether his replacement should be a left footer coming in from
that's great point, Lee. That's the one thing about this is that Kubo is a left-footed winger.
Okay,
that is good. Huge because you don't have many talented left-footed players that play right wing. You just don't. It's not a very long list. It's not a very long list. And what I was going to allow Quasi to comment on too is that yes, I agree. You shouldn't put Kubo or have expectations of Kubo meeting the standards of Salah. But my point of bringing up Diaz is because Diaz got exactly and is still getting that. There's still people out there that says, well, he doesn't bring what Mane brings. He doesn't bring what Mane brings. And I'm like, they're two different players. But that's
so 12 minutes. Yes. I think this is the part where me and Brian kind of agree a little bit. You bring in another player who's not going to meet the expectation of the person he's supposed to replace. That is recipe for disaster from day one. You see what I mean? And if, like I said, if we want to win, we can't keep having players who are below the players that we have right now. It won't make sense. If you want to win, you have to bring somebody who is at the close of Virgil. At the close, I mean, there's nobody going to be as close as Virgil, but at least an archetype. Somebody who VVQ is on the same level, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you bring in somebody like who's going to be competing with Salah. I don't call it replace. Compete with Salah. You can't bring somebody who is a step or two below Salah, especially what we've seen of Salah. You have to bring somebody who is totally different. That's why I chose Nico Williams or Musiala, because the system will change. We're not going to be focusing on the winger scoring a lot of goals.
You shift the focus.
Shift the focus.
Yeah.
But Nico Williams plays left on the left.
He could play both sides. He plays both sides.
Yeah.
He plays both sides. And you know what makes good? One reason why I love Nikos is people don't even know that he could go through the middle. Look what he did to the English.
Kubo can play left, center, and right as well, though.
Okay. So
and it's a left back, and it's a left footed again. So wait, so I put together. Tell me how if you differ on this list. This is a list that I compiled from. I think this is from. I want to say it's from 442. Excuse me. I think. That's a different website. 442. I think it's from 442. and they put together a list of right wings, and they brought up the top 10 right wings that they believe are in the league or in Europe currently. Okay, and they had Simmons, Xavi Simmons at 10. They had Taki at number 9. They had Elise at 8. They had Yamal at 7. They had Messi at 6. They had Dembele at 5. They had Leroy Sané at 4. They had Rodrigo at 3. Salah at 2. And they had, I don't believe this is right, but Saka at 1. And one of the key portions of key factors of a lot of those things is out of that list, not all of those players are really or there's just a few or half of those players are actually left-footed players. They might play on the right wing, but they're not left-footed dominant players.
But this is the thing, 12 men.
Yes.
Football is changing. All right, the whole Pep style of football is changing. Slot is known to be half club, half Pep. So the whole direct wingers being opposite of their left foot, that thing is kind of dying down. You saw how horrible Euro was. You saw how horrible Copa America was. AFCON, the best tournament all year, 2024, right? But you saw the emergence of new players, which gives me a little bit of hope that football is going to be okay. The reason why I want people like me, Yamal, you're not going to get it unless you have $1 billion. So you get somebody like Kava. Now we're talking. He doesn't score a lot of goals, but he causes a lot of problems and creates a lot better chances than Kubo would do. Now, can we get him out of Napoli? That's a whole different conversation. Nico Williams, that is a kid who is 22 years old who plays like he's 27. He is speed. He got everything that an English football needs. You bring Kubo in there. We've seen Japanese players. There's only a few of them who are able to deal with the physicality of the English football. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that they can't play, but I'm just saying you could be a trickster all you want until somebody kicks you. And then that tricks kind of diminish real quick. We saw what happened to Diaz. So I'm saying Liverpool need needle movers. If we want to win, we need needle movers. If not, and we just want to be in the third place, fight with Arsenal in second place, then okay, let's go for those type of players. That list that you gave me, you know it doesn't even make sense. Yamal at number 7, really? Come on.
I mean, that was probably before this recent Euro, before the Euros. Obviously, it's not. This isn't like this is like before that, but. That's just a list that they made, and I mean they're good. They're a good publication actually. They are. I rate them.
Okay. Personally, even if we are not going with these super fancy name like the Yamal or the Nikos and the Musialas, we should have gone for Olise. Because personally, I think he is a needle mover. He is that player who could go toe to toe with Salah, where they could battle it out on that right side. And when Salah moves on, he taking over because guess what? He already know the league. But if we trying to bring somebody in, we need needle movers. I'm sorry, I want to win. So unless we just want to have the players, so we love those players, so we're like, oh my God, you know.
Yeah. I mean, okay, I don't think anyone on here no one on here is saying we want to lose. I mean, like, yeah.
But so if we want to win, that's the question though. If we want to win right now, and we need this manager to hit the road running, we have to give him at least the closest to the best as possible. The closest to the best as possible.
I think you're underestimating the fact that Kubo has a very untapped. Like, let's not get it twisted. Like you just said,
exactly,
Real Madrid. He's played.
Madrid, it didn't work out. Look, I'm gonna give you.
It's not that it didn't work out. It's more so like, is he gonna? I don't know. I don't think that if we can get Rodrigo, sure, I'm down with getting Rodrigo. I'm not saying that. I'm trying to say that sometimes we get so slated on. It has to be this one particular player, this one quote unquote like superstar needle mover, as you're putting it, player. And I'm like, there are other players in this role that can move the
So,
needle for us.
Okay, let me attack the question a different way.
And then, say it, and then we're going to move on to the next topic. But go ahead. Yes.
So when Klopp came in, we knew how Klopp operates. He loves to develop players. So when Edwards was picking players for him, he knew those type of players with the data that was, okay, this kid is at the cusp of becoming great, a la Mane, a la Salah. If I were to ask you the same question, do you think Kubo is at the cusp to become great?
Do I think, say one more time? Do I think Kubo's what?
Is he at the cusp of becoming great like Mane and Salah did?
I think that he has the potential, certainly. Yeah, I think that he was. I think he's on the cusp of. He's top 5 in La Liga. He's one of the top 5 progressive players of successful carries. He was in the top of for goals and assists. I get that his assists weren't overwhelming or his numbers were eye watering. But I mean,
4 and 5 and he's top 5. 12 men. 4 and 5 is top 5. That is a concerning, even in your stats.
For La Liga? For La
Liga.
No, I disagree.
Okay, so
he also was influential in their Champions League run too.
Okay, so now let me ask real quick. Let me ask the panelists, real quick, if you may, please talk.
Sure, go ahead.
Panelists, looking at how Edward picked out Salah and Mane, do you guys think Kubo is at that level where he just need that what Klopp did to Salah and Mane? Do you think Kubo is at that level? Or he needs another year or 2 before he gets to that level, and then we will see if he become great.
JK, you go JK, then we'll go to Irishman, and then Lee?
Yeah, quickly on the Salah thing. Even if we get that new guy in, that means Salah's not going to sign a new deal. He will leave for a free next season. So I think that guy, if he came in, he would be all right with that, Because look at that season. We needed another right winger. He would have played them games Salah missed. Salah never gets injured. That's another big reason why we haven't really bought a right winger, because Salah is always available. People don't really look at that. But for me, is that guy good enough on that level, as Kwasi was just saying, as Mane and Salah? Nowhere near. Of course not. But that's what football is. It only brings up gems now and again. There's a lot of good players, but top level, they only come now and again. So for me, Mane and Salah were just like born in that time era where they both ended up at Liverpool and smashed it.
What's Kubo like at international level?
International, yeah, he's featured. I actually got into it with someone, and someone was saying, "Oh, he got dropped." I'm like, he didn't get dropped from Japan. He didn't play a game because of I think it was because of an injury or something, or not injury or
So he is their main man. He's Japan's main man up front.
He's one of Japan's main.
He's not the Japan main man. Yeah, he's not even. Is he top 5 Japan main man?
He's one of them. Yeah.
Japan main man is our.
I don't know nothing about him, like.
I don't think a lot of fans do.
He is one of Japan's main features. I definitely think that.
How old is he? 12, man.
He's 23.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he's 23, cool. And
good age.
Yeah, I mean, look, they wanted to. This is the statement. For instance, they wanted to take him to the Olympics. He's like, they think he's one of the upcoming, if not the featured talent for Japan. This is what they said. This is what they said. He said, "We've come to the conclusion that we can't call him up after talks with the club." The Japan Football Association's national team director said on Friday. He said Kubo played at the Tokyo Olympics in 2021 when Japan missed out on a medal, losing to Mexico in the third place match. He was devastated. I saw that too. But the Olympics are outside of FIFA's scheduled international match windows. So you know how that goes, which means that they have to ask for permission for these players to come. So yeah, there's players like Suzuki is a big name that they wanted to bring out, but unfortunately, both Kubo and Suzuki will miss out on it. But both Kubo and Suzuki were featured in the Japan team for the Asian qualifiers for the World Cup, and also during the Asian Cup and the likes. I mean, it means something if you're. He was 22 when this was actually. He just turned 23.
Now,
It
Tom,
means something.
let me ask you a question that you posed. You forget about that question. Even though people did not answer my question, Brian, I'm waiting for you to answer.
I
my
didn't
question.
get it. I was waiting for my.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Brian. Go ahead, Brian. Sorry.
What was your question again, Quasi? Sorry. Quickly.
I'm saying
No. Quickly. The main bit of it was.
yeah. So I'm saying it's Kubo at the cups of becoming great. Like
Oh God, yes. Yeah. When we brought like Salah and Mane. I mean, Mane's at Southampton. He's in the Premier League. He's doing it. Salah was ripping it up in Serie A. I mean, again, and don't forget, according to 12 man, Mane only did it because Firmino was there. I don't forget. I didn't forget that comment. Mane only did it because Firmino was there. So Mane was even that good.
I ain't heard that one before.
But look. But you won't know. You can. It's sort of saying like you're asking me to judge on something. Like I can judge him on what he's done. I can't judge him on what he hasn't done. He hasn't moved to England. He hasn't played for them. He hasn't been in the Premier League. Who knows?
Right.
He could come here and like Quasi. Look at Mitoma at Brighton. You know, Japanese winger, very very similar profile, really similar profile. I'd imagine if you put into FPFRF there, compare similar players, Mitoma would probably come up. And not just because he's Japanese. So it can happen. Like, but we can't know. But I know what you're saying. Is this guy on the verge? I mean, they do. They buy up these wonder kids. They've got Arda Güler now. They have it was Kubo before that. Before Kubo was Martin Odegaard. Martin Odegaard didn't work out for him. Now look, he's gone to Arsenal. I think he went to Sociedad as well, actually, for a while on loan. I know he was at Herenveen in Holland on loan, but he moved around a bit. And now he's killing it. Is he? But again, look, I'm with you, Quasi, because I'm with Lee, because what I know about the guy, I could write down on the back of a fact packet. I mean, I just know who he is and what he does. He's a tricky winger, very skillful, highly rated. Obviously, because Real Madrid bought him. Japanese Messi, the whole lot. He's one of those guys. That's what he is. Does he come to Liverpool and absolutely smash it? Who knows? Every transfer is a risk. Even the most, the most lockdown one in the world can go wrong. But he's what we need. But like I said, just really quick, he's what we need. Right. And that's been the problem as well. Is how do you bring in a guy that's good enough to back up Mo Salah, but will only play if Mo Salah isn't playing. But Mo Salah never gets injured, never gets dropped. So who do you have? That's why we kind of need Mo to fuck off, and we can bring in a couple of guys, and we can just right now we've got our two guys on the they do this and because as long as Mo is there, the other guy is just going to have to sit on the bench and catch splinters.
Right. Nico Williams is not sitting on the bench. Yeah, Nico Williams is not.
We're not bringing a bench sitter.
Exactly.
Even for 1 year.
Not coming to sit behind.
Waiting for Salah to go to Saudi next year.
That's my whole point. That's my whole point. When Nico Williams comes in, Salah knows it's peak. You're not the Don anymore. No. We may have to find a new position.
Nico Williams,
but Quasi is Slot the guy. Is Slot the guy to sit?
Conversation, unless you say Mo Salah is not going to be there.
Okay, yeah, but Quasi, then you're asking.
That you're trying to have me play.
Quickly, and to everybody else, do you think Slot would have the cojones, as it were, to be the manager that comes in and starts going, no, Mo, you're not playing every week. Actually, we're going to bring in this guy.
But that's the whole point. Remember when we said the system has to change and knowing
change the focus.
Yes, change the focus. Slot system, the wingers run a lot. Mo is not going to be able to do that. So that means you have to shift him into the number 10 or number 9 role, right? Where he will be able to afford. The problem is, just like you said, if we need Mo to move on, so we could move on. If Mo's going to be there and we try to do something, otherwise we have to play the club way until he moves on, then we start again. Is Liverpool fans going to give Slot that much time for him to wait a whole year to move more on and then eventually start playing his own football?
Don't know.
You see what I'm saying? So
Uh-huh.
big decisions needs to be made and uncomfortable ones too. And slot, yes, you better have that big kahuna because you may have to tell certain players, bruh, you not cutting it.
Well, then let me bring up this next player, or at least this next topic. And it's for a player that I have said that I would like to see be a part of the team, despite his Canadian passport, and
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
and it's interesting because like recently there was some comments made, and I'll bring this up here. This comments on Alphonso Davies. Ulai said basically he was a Bayern Munich board member, very outspoken board member too. He says the way Yamal does things left and right, I wish Alphonso Davies could do that too. We told Davies very clearly that if he doesn't renew his contract, we will let it expire in 2025. He won't get any money. He won't get any more money, unquote. So lately, we've been talking about some of these moves, these players and the likes, out there that are trying to make these moves in the likes. I personally have said when we did our sporting director episode, that Alphonso Davies was one of the key players that I actually did try to say that I would like to see get, the big move to our club. But I know that there's some differences of opinions on Alphonso Davies as of late, whether it was because of his Copa play or maybe because of how he's kind of fallen out of favor at Bayern Munich. But again, this is a player I think, hey, if Bayern Munich is going to put this guy kind of throw him out in the wind somewhat or under the bus, as some people would say, could he be a player that we say okay we go in for, because he's definitely not going to Real Madrid on a paid transfer. Real Madrid is told
No,
Real
they
Madrid
pulled out that one, didn't they? Yeah, they pulled
they've
out
done
that
their
one.
thing. They said, sure, you can come to the team, but you can come to the team on a free. We're not going to Bayern and paying money for you.
They're really, really swinging this big dog thing around, aren't they?
Yeah.
Just
they
telling people to sit tight and we'll take you when you're free and all. I mean, Yaro, that guy that you're just talking about there, Trent.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really, really, they're dialing this shit up to 11. It's getting a little bit annoying. Bayern have always been like that, like they go and take a player off Dortmund and then just go and announce it in March in the middle of in the middle of a title race. Oh, and by the way, we just took their best player. He'll be joining next summer. Totally take the wind out of people's sails, like Goetze and all of that. Like really, just big, horrible big club type stuff. And they forced Man United into paying like nearly 60 million quid for Euro, and they're like, yeah, okay, you have him. We'll just get the next big name guy. But they're going to do that with Trent now. That's what they're going to do with Trent.
Mm-hmm.
Is they're going to say all that stuff to him. Sit there, do nothing, and we'll take you next year on a free.
Yeah,
it's really annoying, that kind of stuff.
This is the thing.
It is what it is.
Real Madrid has reconfigured themselves. They spend a lot of money on that new stadium. I mean, rebuilding
amazing stadium.
Amazing stadium. So they are using their marketing brand to buy players now. If you look at Real Madrid team right now, half of their players are free.
Did you see Quasi? Did you see the number for the shirt sales the day after Mbappe signed?
Bro, the business card already have his picture on it. It's crazy right now. They are using their marketing power to.
That's what we were talking about earlier on with Standard Chartered and Salah. That's exactly what we're talking about. The name and the face.
Yes, they are using that to build the club right now, because honestly, Real Madrid can spend like they used to right now. Give them about 5 years and then they will be unstoppable. They will buy anybody, anytime, spend ridiculous amount of money. But what they're doing is smart. And they told Euro, sit your behind down, wait for us next year. Lille, he folded for Lille because he wanted to play. You are 18 years old. You relax.
18.
Right?
18.
And
Not
you're
even
going to
24 solid, experienced. A freaking
Yeah.
kid.
you see what I'm saying?
A
Potential.
kid.
He's a kid
Potential
right now.
signing. Yeah.
You see what I mean? Now, Davis, Bayern told him, we're not going to give you any money. we tapped out. So we know what Davis is doing. He wants to go to Madrid. He's
Wow,
always
there
been
you go,
wanting
right
to go
there
to Madrid.
too. M. Tarmisi, big up M. Tarmisi, by the way.
Mhm.
We could have used you. You could have used your expertise to kind of to help me combat Quasi on the value of Kubo earlier. But he's saying the possibility is that Fonzie might leave Bayern since they got the Japanese center back / left back Ito last month. So
Who's
that's-
Fonzie?
yeah,
The guy with the
Who's
leather
Fonzie?
Fonzie
jacket.
is Alfonso Davies.
Oh, right. Okay. Right. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
Now, what was his show? What was that show called? Fonzie. It was
Happy
called
Days.
Fonzie, no?
Happy Days.
Happy
No,
Days.
Happy
Yeah,
Days,
yeah.
man. Happy Days.
Yeah,
Oh, he's
there
a
you
Mr.
go.
Happy guy. Get him.
Yeah. In this picture, he doesn't look too happy. Actually, I'll admit that. But
Oh.
yeah, I put up some of his stats on all competitions here. For Bayern, he has the fourth most games since 2019-2020 season. He's the fourth most played player for Bayern Munich. Actually, 195 games with Bayern Munich. They show the minutes. He plays a substantial amount of minutes. They have fallen off somewhat. 2019 to 2020 to 2023, 2024. He's averaging 81 minutes and scored 3 goals and 8 assists. His stats, again, not eye-jarring stats. 3 goals, 8 assists his first year. 1 goal, 2 assists his second year. 0 goals, 5 assists his third year. 3 goals, 7 assists his fourth year. 3 goals, 5 assists his last year. Or this last previous season with Bayern Munich. But let's just be honest. The guy is 23 years old and is a very, very, when it comes to pace, and that is something that obviously this coach does like and does appreciate. This guy has it definitely in Trump. So
Why are you talking about Trump?
Yeah, I know. That's because I didn't want to say in
Biden.
spades. I didn't want to say in spades, but
if we do get him, I think you talk about Alfonso Davies, right?
Yes.
I think he'll be the type of needle movers that I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
So why is he a needle mover with these kinds of production levels on a?
Because we know.
Well, I mean, like it's not like he's playing on he's playing on a team that had one of the top goal scorers in the league. Okay,
but
and he had 5 assists.
12 man, you're looking for your left back to score a whole lot of goals and a whole lot of assists.
No,
remember he was at the level of Robo.
I was just talking about assists. Not
okay.
goals.
Yeah, but that's exactly. He is the player that is identical to Robo. And coming to Liverpool, if Slot is going to continue, remember we were playing in a style where our fullbacks were our creative players, so they gave a lot of assists. He was in Rome and Bayern Munich. It wasn't like that. He had the midfielders to create for their strikers. He was just another powerful weapon that the only person who was identical to him was Robo. So if you bring him in there to Liverpool, he is a needle mover. Guess why? Because you got 2 identical left back who will be competing at the highest level, and one of them is younger than the other one. You see what I mean? But he wants to go to Real Madrid. He's gonna take his time and go for free, just like Brian was saying. And Real Madrid also has a very good left back by the name of Mendy. So I'm just saying, those are the type of players we need to be looking at because we are trying to go to the next level. We are not at the point when Klopp first came in that we had to look at certain players to develop them to where Klopp did. Right now, we have to get certain type of player that are starting us from 3rd place to 1st.
Nolante's point is well. This is the point though too. This is a very good point. I know what you're saying that I definitely would rate Robbo's defensive talents
At his
over.
peak, Robo's at his peak defensive talent was unmatchable. He was probably the best left back in the world. I think he was. I think
Yeah,
he
he
was. But right now, let's be honest, Robo's, remember when he even came back from injury, he was struggling. People were like, no, keep Gomez on the left back. So I'm just saying, Robo is not the Robo that we love, that legend Robo. That is not him. But that
Where
time, but the time has caught up.
Mm.
You see what I'm
well,
saying?
You
So
guys
that's when we
hold me to that Mane, to the Bobby Mane comment. I think I have
But
a
look,
comment the whole Quasi too.
no, I'm
no,
just
but look,
saying
all
we
I'll
try to
say
move
is,
forward. We try to move forward, right, Brian? If we try to move forward, uncomfortable conversations.
yeah,
What,
like
what is it that?
Robbo is like I wouldn't compare. I don't think it's fair to. I don't just stats is just on its own, just numbers, you know.
Hmm.
Even then, like Davies is left back. I get he's playing for Bayern. Kubo, he's an attacking midfielder. I wouldn't expect their numbers to be similar, even though Davies does get lauded as this attacking kind of, behemoth,
Hmm.
as it were.
He runs
Um,
forward a lot, but he's not that attacker.
yeah,
Like, yeah,
yeah. I think I don't like this is the world we live in now. People kind of criticize left backs for not scoring 20 goals a season. Like I remember when left backs were
yeah,
defenders. Like,
yeah. 12 men.
you know,
yeah,
so I'm cool with it, but I think he would be Alfonso Davies would be. Is he a needle mover? Is he better than Kubo? Does he move that needle higher than Kubo does? I don't know, but I would love to get him in. I think he'd be great in the Premier League. A lot of pace, great cross on him. If you like an attacking left back, we all want one. Yeah, he's one of the best out there. Yeah, if he does 8 goals, 10 goals, 12 goals, fine. But if we want to replace Robbo, which we will need to do because Robbo's 30 now, he'd be a great player to bring in. He can do it all day long. He's
Right.
athletic. He's quick. He won't let you down. Just play him as an attacking left back, and yeah, fine. And if you were stuck, you could play him on left wing. If Diaz is injured and Gakpo is suspended, you need a left winger. Davies can do it all day long. Throw him in there, brilliant. So I take him if the money is astronomical and all that. No, but in when you play in a certain, sometimes you can't really beat pace. Pace is huge, and he's rapid. He's really really good. So if he was available and affordable, bring him in, and hopefully someone gives us 10 million quid for Simicast, and then we then have Alfonso Davies and Robbo's our established guy. Alfonso Davies ready to take over, and in 2 years' time, Robbo's 32. We've got Davies as our guy. That's a perfect world scenario to me. But yeah, is he neither? No, he's not a. Oh, now we're going to win the league kind of player. Definitely not. No. But I take him all day long, man.
But
Yeah.
Brian, the
yeah.
question is there a big drop off between Fonzo and Robo?
I reckon they're very different. Yeah, Robbo grew up as a defender. I think Davies grew up as an attacker. That's the way I
Hmm.
look at it.
Yeah,
Robbo grew up
yeah.
knowing how to defend, but Davies is a winger playing as a left back, whereas
Hmm.
Robbo is a defender that learned how to become one of the
Be a
most
winger.
devastating left
Mm.
backs under
Yeah,
Klopp. Yeah,
bang
and
on.
that's the way. I could be wrong. Happy to prove wrong, but that's the way I look at him.
That's how I look at it as well. And for me, if you were going to get Alfonso, it would have been easier with Klopp in charge. I feel with Klopp in charge, we could have signed anyone. With this guy, I'm not sure yet.
Lee, I'll ask Lee this question specifically, and then we can go quickly around the horn before we go straight to the next question. And it definitely goes to it's similar to what the reason why I brought up this graphic once again. And again, I will say this currently he makes Alfonso makes around 11 to 13 million euros a year. He's looking for a salary closer to 20 million a year.
Jesus,
Um,
Jesus Christ.
yeah.
That's
It's
like
saying that
350.
at Bayern Munich he's making around 82.5 um 82.5 thousand pounds a week. That's what his current salary is at.
No wonder he's making a fuss then. He's thinking, this is my prime now.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
One-
yeah. I mean, he's
That's
23
why he's
years
doing
old.
it.
I mean, like he's still got a little time before he gets to his prime.
You got loads of time, but now he's just feeling
All
now's
his
the
mates,
time where I want to get paid.
all
Well,
his
yeah.
famous
Like everyone
footballer
else.
mates are on 150, 180, 200.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird because like or not weird, but Bayern Munich's salary. That's again why I've always talked about the way the wage budget is set for teams and the way it's basically you have to keep some type of balance or respect for it. It is certainly easy to say that Bayern Munich's wage budget is very bloated, okay, to say the least,
Big
when
time.
it comes to a lot of these players are making and some of the players that actually what they are making and what they're actually even contributing on the pitch, much less even getting on the pitch. For instance, like De Ligt, again, he's making 200 and some odd thousand, 225,000, I think, euros or something like that. He's making close to, if not more money than Virgil's making, for instance. Or even Neuer is making 320,000 a week, 320,000 pounds a week, and that's for a goalkeeper.
Their MO. That's
Yeah.
their MO though. They're like, we're Bayern. We pay. We're a big club. We pay you big wages. I have no problem with it. That's how they, they get these guys to go there. Not all of them, but some of them to go, because you're going to Bayern. Okay, you're going to probably win a Bundesliga, and you probably you're one kick away from going out of a Champions League most years. You're not going to a Premier League. Yeah, you're not going to the Premier League. You're not going to Barcelona. So they do have to up that money. Yeah. They do have to kind of make up for it financial wise, because even guys, I've won like some of those guys. They've won like 5 Bundesligas in a row. It's like, well, what are you going to do next year? Win another Bundesliga? They'll want to win. To keep these big guys there, they have to pay that big wage, and they do. They do it.
Yeah, they do.
And that's why you see those numbers. That's why you see those numbers at Bayern, because they just go, look, we'll double whatever they're going to give you. We'll double it.
Well, this is what I was going to ask Lee, and I'll end with Lee and JK on this last question here. But the thing about what their board member, I think it's Holiness. I wish we had Hyler in the chat.
Holiness.
Or JK can tell us. Yeah, how is it pronounced?
Holiness.
Like Penny.
Yeah.
On the end.
Holiness.
Okay, just making sure I pronounced it right. So what he's saying, though, for a player that is still under contract and that they're still trying to negotiate, obviously they're pretty frustrated that the player wants more money and they don't want to give him more money. They think that he's on what he is worth at the moment, and he doesn't agree. And he thinks that he could probably get it at Real Madrid, which I don't agree. I don't think that Real Madrid's going to say, "Oh yeah, we'll give it to you." But what I was going to say is, do you have a problem with a board member kind of making it more difficult? He's not making it any easier with the situation with this player, because if anything, they're basically telling the world, we're not going to give him any more money. We'll let this contract ride out to the end if necessary, and most likely, if a deal comes through all across the table, we'll highly consider it. Lee, you have an issue with that?
Yeah, isn't it like come out of the club if it's correct? I'd see that's it with players, like the idea of us getting Davis once somebody's at Real Madrid or Bayern Munich, them and they leave, they're not leaving for a massively lower wage. They're only moving somewhere where they can get a similar wage. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like De Ligt's name was mooted like again and again, and he's just on such huge wages, mate, that it just makes it not ludicrous, but fanciful. Let's say fanciful to imagine that we would get him on those wages. So no, it's just a non-starter from our perspective. About him going to Real Madrid, wanting to go to Real Madrid, well, it's an upgrade on Bayern Munich. He might win the Champions League with Real Madrid. He could win it with Bayern Munich. I know that he has, hasn't he? But he maybe want to win it a few more times, like, and Madrid's the more likely place to win it, isn't it? I don't know.
Okay.
Good player. Good player.
Just
JK. Okay. Irishman, you want to say something real quick?
Oh no, just with the directors saying no, it doesn't bother me at all. That's Bayern.
No.
That's what they're like. Those guys come out firing shots every day of the week. You know, that's what they do. I like direct communication. I like people coming out and actually saying this kind of stuff and putting people sort of to task, players, agents, all of that. As long as it's respectful and all of that, I think it's, football is entertainment at the end of the day. So when these guys come out and make these kind of statements, I mean, it's good to see. It doesn't. Nobody died. It's fine. It's just like it's good. I don't think they're. It's Bayern. Like Bayern, like I say, they're their own. They have their own way of doing things. They come out and they'll make statements like this in public. They'll slag off their own players. They'll call them out regularly. They do it all the time. And I think, it's just part of the game. It's how they do it. And if the guy wants it, like he's after pissing off a few people at Bayern by saying, no, I'm turning down your new contract offer. So they're like, well, F you. We'll talk shit about you in the press.
Yeah.
That's just how they do it. That's how they do it. It's like, because like, you know what I was saying earlier on about us needing to make it like if Trent is leaving, we need to make it look like we tried everything to keep him. We offered him the world. So if he does leave, it's because he turned us down. We tried.
Right.
It's
Bayern
like they're the opposite. It's napalm. It's like it's just like this firebomb. Firebomb everything.
Yeah. How dare
this
you
is
not?
Carpet bombing PR shit.
Right.
If they'll just come out and they'll call him a dickhead.
They did the same to Lewandowski. They did very similar actions with Lewandowski.
And then guess what? 12 man.
Yeah.
They accept the check.
Yep.
Then they do the deal and they're like, okay, thanks very much. We got our money. We make a big PR fuss. We make it seem like, oh, that guy's an asshole, but thanks very much. Yeah, we'll take 20 million. Okay, what do you mean 18? Yeah, we'll do it for 18. Thanks. Yeah.
JK, do you want to? No, my fault.
No, that's great PR. Great PR. Great fun.
JK, I'll let you have the last word on this one, and then we're going to go on to the next topic.
Yeah. Quickly, I just say about if Klopp was still in charge, we can get him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Simple as.
Easy enough. Easy enough said. This next topic here is again, we're up in the club. Shout out to Richard. Definitely big up, Richard. How you doing, brother? Up in the club, popping bottles with us. Appreciate it. We're here for vibes, of course. So that's why we're talking about, some of the other dealings in Europe and dealings with other clubs and dealings such. There was a comment that was made by Ronald Koeman, who said, this is his comment at least, he says, I have the dream of coming back to this club, or meaning Barcelona, but with another president. In the last years, I think Barca's problem has been that Messi is out, he's out, or I'm quoting, so I'll say I'm out. Xavi is out. So I think it's better to respect the people, the legends of the club. I think that's more important than fighting over a player. Do you have a problem with this kind of comment? Again, we just went with like a board member saying something about a player. Now, basically, it's just kind of interesting that he's coming out and basically calling out Barcelona, who I think are at a crux in their progression of trying to resurmount themselves as a viable, competitor against Real Madrid. Do you think that this comment was out of pocket? Do you think that he was wrong in saying that? We'll start with JK on this one. Do you think it was out of pocket to say that?
Could you repeat that one more time?
Oh yes. Do you think that this comment
quote,
that he made,
the quote from Koeman, maybe? Yeah.
Oh, do you want me to repeat the quote? Okay.
Yeah.
He says, I have the dream of coming back to this club, meaning Barcelona, but with another president. In the last years, I think Barca's problem has been that Messi is out, I'm out, Xavi's out. So I think it's better to respect the people, the legends of the club. I think that's more important than fighting over a player. Mm-hmm. Do you think that comment was out of pocket? Do you think you have issue with them saying that? Do you think he's or is that something? Is that right? Spot on.
It's
Nolante
true. I
thinks it's
think.
spot on. Yeah, Nolante
Yeah, I
thinks
think it's bang on because I think we're living in a phase of football now where players are bigger than clubs. You know, like the younger generation sport Messi or Ronaldo. They don't really support a team. And it's about time, I think clubs need to get hold of who they are and what players are, you know. Without the club, the players have got nowhere to play. Without the players, the club's got no players to play from. So it's like a cycle, you know. But I'm not a big fan of the younger generation sporting players more than the club, you know. It's just like my mind boggles with that. Cuban's spot on about what he just said. He wrote there,
yeah. Quasi's going to be leaving us here soon, so I'm going to let Quasi go next and hear his opinion on this one. I'm sure he has one that's going to be fun to hear. So let's hear it.
Oh man, Coleman is so upset that they fired him from Barcelona. You know, he was a Barcelona legend. People forget that.
No, he was won him a European Cup.
Yep.
He was the European Cup winning captain. He was captain when they first won it in '92.
Yeah. So he said that he was not treated well for being a club legend. They did not afford him to give him that respect and give him time to build something. Barcelona became a one-man team. We all know who that man is. And the other CEO basically bankrupted the club. So I think he's just letting his feelings be known. Personally, I think UEFA and FIFA need to investigate La Liga on how they deal with those two clubs, which is Madrid and Barcelona, because those guys, for some reason, always find a way to get money from nowhere when they are broke.
Finding the couch, finding their couch.
Yeah.
No,
somewhere in the cracks of the couch, there's always a couple pennies that fell through, and we understand those two clubs they are tourism. Their whole tourism is based on those two clubs. So
heavily.
The government finds a way, and somehow money ends up in their pockets. So I think there needs to be an investigation on La Liga on how they do business with those two clubs. Yes, they do generate a lot of marketing, but they lose a lot of money. They lose a lot of money too. At least Madrid has figured it out.
Madrid make a shit ton of money. A shit ton. So you're talking 800 plus a year in revenue.
That's why I will leave it at.
Everybody else.
Yeah, Quasi, take it easy, man. You sorry, Lee. I know Quasi has to leave. So, Quasi, do you want to shout out your channel, man? Quasi,
your channel before you bounce for
Thank you so much, Brian. We miss you on the channel. You need to jump over. So it's 12 man. I know you guys work every day.
Man. So. You should see me. I look like a hermit with my hair and my beard. I've been in the barbershop for so long, man.
Yeah, we need to get you back to the barbershop. Man. So big up to yourself. Big up to everybody. Lee, JK, and then 12 man.
Peace,
Thank you for inviting. Thank you for inviting me. And people in the chat, please subscribe and like, man. I don't follow too many Liverpool content. So if you see me, those are the people I follow. So big up.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, if you haven't, please do subscribe and like, share, the whole likes for Quasi. He is, he's saying he's a guest, but he's more so family. So I think it's important that a lot of times we hear people talk about, we're Liverpool and everything. Well, that whole statement has to carry more weight than just saying it. You have to actually exude it. And I mean, like that means, following those out there, especially, those Reds out there that are trying to like represent the club, or not necessarily club, but like us as a fan base, and trying to present forums for us to have, conversations. And I get that we all don't have the same opinions, whether we think they're right or wrong is one thing or another, but I mean, at least we have the forums to talk and to, big up each other and the likes. And I think that's very important. So like, whether it's Quasi's, whether it's Frank's channel, whether it's, whether it's N's channel or any of these channels out there, please do support each and every one of them. I think that when we do that, then we actually show that we are a solidified Reds. I know people get kind of triggered if I say United. Lee, you wanted to say something about this Barca comment? I got to think about it again.
No, I'll pass on that. We'll move on. We'll move on.
Yeah, okay. All right, no worries, no worries. JK, did you want to, or we're at the Irishman? We're at the Irishman actually. Did you want to comment a little bit more on this before we move on to the next comment or next topic?
No, it's just that it's very Koeman, you know. The Dutch connection between their runs deep, and they have strong opinions on how that club should be run, and it's very similar to the Bayern model, where after time it ends up where it's actually ex-players in high up positions. At Bayern, they can actually end up running the club because it's more of a fan-owned thing. Again, a different setup to the way Bayern is fan-owned as well. But it's very much the done thing to have ex-players in high positions and take their advice. Yeah. No, not as ambassador.
You mean as actual?
Directors of finance, like Hassan Sami Alic. Yeah, no, as like Salihamidzic went away, got a degree in accountancy and football. Like all these.
Oh no, yeah, certainly. Arsenal's done it. Liverpool's done it. Yeah,
they're run by. No, but they're run by ex-players. Liverpool aren't in that, like in the way that
in that way.
Yeah,
I would get you saying.
And Barcelona are, and Ajax are. It's like Overmars was running Ajax until like that's the way they see it. Is that you take an ex-player and you train him how to run the business side, and then you have a football person running. So the football bit is the most important. A football person making football decisions. But they're also qualified to do the business bit, you know. But that's how they see it. That's how Koeman sees it should be run. But he's like he lost his job there ages ago, man. I don't know what he's talking about there. Like, and he was shit. Like Koeman is, I think Koeman is Koeman's the highest. Koeman, I think, has scored over 360 goals in his career. Koeman is the highest scoring defender in the history of world football. He was a phenomenon as a player, an absolute phenomenon. But his ability as a player and his ability as a manager are massively different. Like, he is a bang average manager. He might be good as a CEO, but he showed it everywhere he went. He's okay. You know what I mean? But he's like, he can't handle the fact that he's not an elite manager, and he's not. He'd be great running the academy at Ajax or running the academy at, you know, something like that. That'd be great for him at PSV or something like that. But yeah, he thinks he's like a world-class manager. He thinks he's as good a manager as he was a player. And as a player, he was as good as it gets, basically. But yeah, he's just not at that level.
I got what you're saying. I brought up Arsenal because I know that they have Edu is like their
Edu. It's that kind of going towards that kind of model, and that's good as well. You like, because it's like, what's the point in bringing in someone who is a brilliant accountant but doesn't know anything about football? Why not bring in someone who's an ex-footballer but has actually gone and gotten a degree in accountancy? Surely that would be better, right?
Sure.
You know, that's the whole. Yeah, so that's the way they're doing it. That's the way they do it. They force these guys. Well, they don't force them, but they pay for them to go to university and get degrees in management and football management and, you know, all these kind of things, commercial management, all that, and then they go back to these clubs, and they're trained in these things, but they have football knowledge first and foremost. Which, guess what? It's a football club. So that's what that's what I like about it. But then you get that kind of thing where, you have a lot of power struggles because guess what? World-class footballers have a very high opinion of themselves. So, you know, you get clashes. So, but again, I just think it's fun. All this stuff is entertaining.
I got you.
I mean, very entertaining.
Yeah. It's like kind of like looking over the fence a little bit at the other, you know, like at situations going on in other fan bases and other clubs, because, you know, we've got our own issues and such with or interpretations of how our clubs be run and like. But
who's that bloke City have bought? A winger, a Brazilian winger, Silvinho.
Savio from Girona, from the club they own in Spain.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
I thought I heard that he bought a Brazilian called Silvinho, like the old name Silvinho.
No, he's a Brazilian winger called Savio, but he played at Girona, and they own Girona.
That's Girona.
So
Yep.
The old Savio was boss, buddy. He was mega him, the old Savio. Remember him? Savio. Little Dominions of Spanish. Was he boxer tricks?
Oh, no, I thought you were talking about Savio Nazarenko. Do you remember Savio Nazarenko, who went to West Ham for like 10 million quid, and it was awful.
Yeah. Savio. There's a school by us, nicknamed Savio.
This next topic here is, I know something we've spoke on. We're not going to spoke on super length or at super length on it because I know it can definitely push and poke certain buttons when it comes to kind of getting into things. But
we're not looking forward to this one.
Yeah. We're gonna, but I think it's important because it is a statement now, because I know that this player, he made a comment or not comment. Excuse me, he was participating in something I personally condemned, and he's his own players on his team. There's like 7 French players that play on Chelsea, in Chelsea, and like how and why I don't even understand why you would bring up France when you just won the Copa. Makes no sense, absolutely no sense. But all the same, and I know he's had to deal with French players. Very, very.
They unfollowed him.
Yeah, like unfollowing
his teammates unfollowed him. Yeah,
unfollowing on like different social media platforms and the likes. It sounds very juvenile, but then again, that's how you make a statement nowadays in the world.
Yeah,
is who you follow, who you don't follow. So there's
you don't follow your own teammate.
Yeah, that says something. That says a lot, actually. But this says this is the apology from Enzo. The apology reads. He says, quote, this is from Enzo Fernandez, quote, "I want to sincerely apologize for a video posted on my Instagram channel during the national team celebrations. The song contains highly offensive language, and there is absolutely no excuse for these words. I stand against discrimination in all forms, and apologies for getting caught up in the euphoria of our Copa America celebrations. That video, that moment, those words do not reflect my belief or character." When I spoke on this earlier, and again, this is the reason why I wanted to bring this up, is that this is a decent statement, a decent comment to at least say and bring out there, in the sense of saying that he understands he was wrong, and he understands that he's now getting a perspective that the song and the things that are connected with it are hurtful to others, and especially people that he might, hopefully at least, care about in the world. So for him to say that was cool. And I also will state that there was comments, or there was not speculation, but questions as to whether Maka was on the bus. He was not. Neither Messi or Maka were on the bus during this video and during that celebration. That's at least good to hear, at least in the sense of that they weren't participating in this this terrible song and celebrate and celebration. But do you go ahead, Lee?
A bit more honesty, if he would have stopped his statement at the part where it said, "I'm sorry I got caught," in the ocean, he should have just chopped it off and said, "I'm sorry I got caught."
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, because this isn't the first time they've sung this song. This isn't the first time they've sung this song.
No, it's a bullshit apology. It's a bullshit apology because it's not written by him in the first place. And basically what he's done is he's put a load of words, and Lee's exactly right. That there's always, he can't just say that was horrible and I shouldn't have done it. What he's done is he's put an excuse in there, and that excuse is that he got caught up in the euphoria of the moment. That's the most important line in that. That's him giving himself a get out of jail free card. He's
Mhm.
ignoring the fact that they sang a racist song and that there was loads of them singing this racist song. He says, "Oh, I got caught up in the euphoria." By doing what? Filming yourself, putting
Mhm.
it on a live stream. Like that's you didn't get caught up in the euphoria. They've mentioned that they've done it before, and there's a brilliant video that's been done on this by Mikel, who's
Okay.
a Asian Liverpool fan who addresses a lot of the anti-Asian sentiment that's been going around recently, and then he moves
There
on to
has
this.
been. There has quite been.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
there has
I
been.
think he takes this down brilliantly, and he shows how this is a nothing apology, and he brings up the
Mm.
numerous tweets from Argentinian politicians who push back against this apology, who
Yeah.
say that
Well,
he was right to do what he did.
no, you're
And
absolutely right. You're absolutely
yes,
right.
this apology has gone down badly in Argentina. This apology is
Yeah.
not welcomed in Argentina.
Which is
They
sad,
think they,
which
which
says
is
a lot.
sad.
That says a lot
Yeah,
of the
but
culture that
also,
exists.
but
Yeah.
also quickly, McAllister came out in defense of Enzo as well. So
Hmm.
let's not skate over that. He
Oh, and
did.
that's the reason
He
why
came out in
I was
defense.
disappointed. Yeah, I was
He
disappointed.
came out in defense of
Hmm.
him. So there was an awful. Now, also, what Mikel points out in this video is Enzo Fernandez isn't the brightest or sharpest tool in the
He's
box
not. He is
because
not. He is not.
what they
Yeah.
get to the second verse of this song, and he isolates the audio where you can hear one of his Argentinian teammates coming over and saying, "Cut the live, cut the live."
Yeah. Yeah.
Now
'Cause they
that's because
know.
he says, "Are you fucking broadcasting this?
Yeah.
Are you fucking stupid?" Now this
Yeah.
is not an old song. You're asking where this came from. It's because they played him recently in the World Cup. But this started off as a fan chant. This was
Hmm.
a fan chant that
Right.
started off, right?
Right.
Which is about basically how black African players in France are not from France. Their
Or
mothers
they're
and their
not
fathers
French,
are from
or they're
Africa,
or not
right?
only that they're
Yeah,
not from France, they're not French. That's one because
yes,
look,
they're
let's be
not
honest.
French.
Look, there's plenty of people that have emulated to America or emulated to England or emulate or like
Exactly.
and
Most of
to
those
say that they're
Argentinian
not
players have
English or to
European
say they're not
heritage.
Irish or to say
Yeah.
they're not Japanese or whatever. That is very, very disconcerting. That's
This is not an apology, dude. This is like if if a video shows up of you and all your buddies singing a song at a barbecue, whether
right.
it's offensive or it's like you can tell. Oh, dude, that's just this thing they've always been singing it because they're all in on it. You can tell
Right.
that's just something they always sing. You can tell this is a thing they always sing. Now I think
Right.
it's a new thing, but this just comes in and it's all about like what the hell are you talking about?
No, yeah.
Like how are you being so fucking stupid?
Right.
But these are people, these are young men that they're not the most intelligent, some of them in the world, but this is a deeply held belief among some Argentinian people, which has been reflected by
He
what
left.
the politician, the political response to this has been.
Yeah.
So this is a big deal that's been swept under the carpet as far as I'm concerned. He's
Hmm.
been unfollowed by 3 of his Chelsea teammates,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Like that's like you say, that is a
Fofana actually came out
Fofana.
and made a statement. Actually,
Yeah, he walks into the dressing room in Chelsea. Now he could get fucking, he
well,
could
no,
get
he's
decked.
facing. He's
He
actually
could
what's
get
very
knocked out.
not well. That's if he even gets
No,
to
I'm
walk.
in the
That's
real
even
world.
that's it,
In the
fine. That's
real
even if
world,
he gets to walk into the Chelsea
that's what I'm saying. In the
because you know
real
why?
world,
Because the FA still has to figure out what they're going to do about this, and the players that were involved. It's going to be very interesting if because there's been players that have been attached to this video, attached to being on the bus and singing, but how they actually educate that, I don't know. But for incidents that involve racism, okay, 6 months is the minimum ban that you will see for the FA. That's what's been said out there. You can get anywhere from 6 months to a 12-month ban. 6 months is the minimum. So, yeah, he has to make these statements. Yeah, he has to shuffle back and do the apology tour, because realistically,
Ain't gonna work.
I don't know if it's going to work,
No,
like
what you
South
did is
Park.
on
I don't know if
camera.
he has to get Jesse Jackson or something like that.
No, what you did is on camera, dude. It ain't gonna work. What you did is on camera. You stupidly filmed yourself committing the crime.
Exactly.
Nobody has to prove anything. You stupidly filmed it for everyone to see.
Yeah.
What you did is what you did.
Yeah.
Everyone else did it. You just filmed it. That's why the guy comes over, realizes this moron is actually live streaming this.
Right.
He's not recording it. He thought he was recording it. He realized he was live streaming it. He's like, you moron, cut the live. Live.
Right.
Why would you run up to
and
somebody filming something and say, stop filming? Because you don't want people to see what's going
name
on.
says it well. It says it's like he's like saying, I'm sorry if you were offended.
Sorry if you were offended.
It's
a PR apology.
Yeah, and just as Lee said, he says this statement could have easily just said all forms and apologies for getting caught. As basic, like he got caught. So like
let's learn from this shit. Like Suarez got us. Let's learn from it, man. Let's go down hard.
Well,
can I just bring up quickly? For anyone that doesn't know,
I have another point to bring up.
Liverpool under 23s.
Oh, that's what. Oh, so let me before you do that. I'm going to bring that statement. I have that story actually. That's what I was going to bring up. The U18s.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have the actual. I have quotes for that. Yeah, for Frankfurt.
Yeah.
That's what you're. If that's what you're talking about.
That's what I was going to. Yeah, the games that were abandoned because of.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Well, yeah, good segue into it is that, what I was going to bring up is that on Saturday, the U18s left the field because they were they had to walk off twice because of alleged racism. Okay, and this is going on in the Bundesliga Cup youth tournament. It was against Hoffenheim, right, on Friday. Yeah. And this is the quote: Liverpool FC can confirm that a member of our under 18s team reported he was racially abused by an opponent while playing in the Bundesliga Cup youth tournament in Schwabisch Hall. That's how I believe. I hope that's JK. Please do correct me if I'm wrong on that pronunciation. Schwabisch Hall in Germany on Friday. The player immediately alerted the match. What is it?
Schwabisch Hall. Yeah.
Swedish. Okay.
No, Schwabisch.
Schwabisch. Okay.
And that's what Jurgen Klopp is. He's Schwabisch.
Okay. It's probably why
he comes from that area.
I got you. And the quote goes on to say, in a future incident, the same player was the target of abuse during a fixture in the tournament today. Again, the player alerted his teammates and coaching staff, and our management team opted to leave the pitch once more. Liverpool said that they were proud of the player's decision to report the incident and that he had shown maturity with his response. Frankfurt's sporting director said having spoken to the accused player for his club, the incident was a misunderstanding, is what he's calling it. It's disappointing to hear that that's what he's looking at. There's no misunderstanding when it comes to being racially abused on the pitch. You know what someone said, and you know how you felt. There's no misunderstanding.
Sorry, just quickly, Jimmy. Sorry, Jimmy. Jimmy wants to put the verse in the chat. Yeah, Jimmy, put it in, man. Put in whatever you want to put in, man. Put it in the chat. Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, so that we can get context for sure. Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry, Lee. Go ahead. What you want to say?
Good, Lee.
Who was the player involved? Do we know who it was?
They didn't. They didn't name the player.
They didn't name. I don't think they should either. I don't want, especially since he's an under 18 player. I don't want to bring him as it was hard enough for Vinicius Jr. to be the spotlight of being the racially abused player and then have to take on that mantle of taking on racism.
No, exactly.
For an under 18 player, it's bad enough he had to go through it. Yeah, I don't want.
It was the fans. Yeah, they said it was the same player. It happened twice in consecutive games where they'd mentioned it before and they walked off, and so that's twice in that tournament. They against two different teams. They walked off, and it's the same player in both. And today, or the latest one was, I know you were saying it was about language. The other one, they said it was it was linguistic differences.
Right.
That's what it was. You know, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, this is the whole thing. Like we're talking about with, it's exactly the same as this Enzo Fernandez apology. They come out and they admit that stuff was said and it was awful and it was really, really wrong. And they should have just stopped there. But then they go, but it was just because of linguistic differences. Oh, fuck off. Like the Enzo Fernandez thing, it's like, what we did was really, really wrong. Shouldn't have done it. Cool. Nice one. Oh, sorry, you've got something else to say. Yeah, oh, I got caught up in the euphoria of the moment. Oh, come on, dude. That's
No, you
like what your man is saying. Sorry if you were offended. That's the
Right.
sorry if you were offended bit.
Mm.
It's like you've apologized, you said you've done wrong. Cool, leave it there. But then they have to add in that, oh, but it was just linguistic differences, or they heard something that wasn't meant. It's just, oh, come on. You were doing really well by
Right.
apologizing, you know, but now, oh, they try and give
Right.
themselves that get out of jail free card. But they have to
Right.
walk off twice in consecutive games.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on, man? What the
Yeah.
fuck is going on?
Yeah. And I mean, again, it's the reasons why. I mean, like, look, we've had this whole campaign of, like, taking a knee to start games, or whether it's been like the whole kick out racism and the likes in the game, and with the patches and everything else and yada yada. It still
And these
exists.
are the kids.
It
But
still
these are
exists.
the kids, 12 man. These are the
Exactly.
kids.
Yeah. Yeah. And it says something that it's at this level of the game. Like, as in, there's no way it's ever going to be wiped out, or at least have any hopes of being wiped out, if at these levels it still is very prevalent.
Yeah,
That's
your 50-year-old or your 70-year-old racist uncle is still racist. Yeah, cool. Of
right.
course he
Right.
is. But
Right.
the 18-year-olds,
Yeah. The 16-year-old,
what the
17-year-old kid.
fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a whole different story. That's a whole different story. And it exists
Terrifying.
in very progressive countries like Germany, whether it's,
Yeah.
and I mean, and I know Germany doesn't want to have this represent them, it was sad. And that's why I was bringing up earlier, like, as in, I believe that the vice president of he's a VP of something in the Argentinian Federation, for instance, made a comment condemning what was said by Enzo, for instance, or what was being spoken in this chant, the whole nine. He made a statement. That's what Argentina did. They fired him. That's the wrong, like, that's the wrong message. That's the wrong message to do. You come out, you can, because you didn't take the party line of basically trying to, make excuses and everything else. That's horrible. And then now you hear this being said. This is just as you said, Brian. That's like, the Frankfurt sporting director. His name is Timo Hardung.
Okay, yeah.
Saying is a misunderstanding and trying to basically, basically, make it water under the bridge type concept. That's just horrible, man. That's just not way. It's not the direction I think that we want to go as a football community. I think it's horrible. And again, that's the reason why I was bringing this. The reason why I brought up the whole statement and why I wanted to definitely say this, because it's not only affecting, senior players in Copa and around the world. It's affecting our youth. That's not where we want this to go. That's my point. But
there's also been, I don't want to go down too far, and it is a bit cultural, and there has been a video made about this, and the video is actually titled why don't Argentina have any black players? Because Argentina don't have any black players. They don't. They never have.
No, they don't.
But Brazil is right next door, and guess what? A lot of black players play for Brazil. So it's literally, why is Argentina so freaking white?
all the
And
other
if you
countries.
look into it, it is an incredibly white country. I'm not going to go into it here, but obviously,
right.
like
But
it is a really, really white country. So you can not understand, but now you can see why some of these kind of things might be happening in that country, like why
I would,
some of that
I would
stuff
say
might be more acceptable.
Why the
Yeah,
disconnect
exactly,
on
exactly.
why someone would feel offended by what you said. There's
But you can
reason
see
why
why,
there is that those
yeah.
connections exist, because like if you don't engage in those cultures or those in those cultures around you, guess what? You're probably not going to understand or understand or comprehend how your words have meaning and how they impact
But
other people.
well, I go the other in terms of just like they are a really white country. That's all I'd say.
There's other
It's a
things. Yeah,
very white country.
we
Yeah,
could definitely get
but
into
yeah.
not into
No,
not
not into it now. But I just think it's
yes,
been a disgraceful few months in football. There's been some really horrible things that have happened over the last few months.
certainly.
With in terms of this, and it's not just this.
No, it's certainly it's what's scary about it, Brian, or not scary, but was eye opening about it, and this is something that maybe some people really haven't comprehended, because I know that this story is now taken place over the Uruguay, fiasco that that involved Darwin, but Uruguay, both Uruguay, I don't possibly I don't know if Colombia is going to get involved in it in some of the sanctions or not, but both Uruguay and Argentina are going to find players possibly facing big bans, and I mean some huge sanctions against two of the most prevalent nations in the football community, and it's kind of crazy that's where we're at right now. I mean, there's 11 players that were a part of the Uruguay thing. There's at least, I believe, 7 players, or not 7 players. There's at least there's I don't know the exact number, so I'm not going to speculate, but there's a good number of players that were involved in this chant, and I already spoke about how the FA FIFA, there's a lot of different levels that can basically come out with some types of bans,
Are we getting any word on the actual Darwin thing yet, or the other players, like if they're going to be in trouble for the violence? Like, do we know anything more yet? Like,
we haven't had a ruling just yet as to what's going on, and it's going to be interesting because we have the Olympics coming up. I don't know if that's going to impact some of those players or the availability of some of those players. I know that you're only allowed to bring 3 senior players on teams in the Olympics. But
nations seem to value the Olympic football a little bit more, don't they?
Yeah.
They're more into the Olympic football, like, aren't they? So if they ban them, like, it will have an effect, won't it?
Oh yeah, it'll have an effect, and again, it will go into this. I mean, we're a month away from starting the Premier League back up. A month away from starting a lot of these leagues back up. That's why it's going to be. There's a lot. It's kind of crazy that we are in a place with football, whether it's now these racial connotations with these issues, or fan violence, or not fan violence, but I guess you could call it fan violence too, and we're going to have to deal with those circumstances. We're still waiting on these court case, or not the court case, but the arbitration case, and we're going to have a court case coming in November for City. There is so much connected to the game that is not being, that's not even connected to the pitch, really.
That's not connected to the game. Exactly. That's not connected to the game.
That's scary.
So much freaking bullshit.
Yeah. That is the real disappointment for me, is that I'm excited. I want to get excited about this upcoming season with a new coach. What kind of, are we going to make a title run? These kinds of connections. The Champions League has a new format. We're gonna have a show on that too later on this week. All these different things are conversations I want to start having and trying to, enlighten or at least be educated myself on. And here we are talking about,
we need to talk about the young Cooper.
Is that what you say? What'd you say?
The guy
Apparently
in the
so.
chat server. He wants to talk
Oh,
about
I
Liam
know,
Cooper.
I know. He's really all about Liam Cooper. We spoke on Liam Cooper already. We already spoken.
He's a defender for Leeds, yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm not certain actually. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah,
But
I remember him
Oh, the
when-
streets late to the show, but Streets is late to the,
the streets
show.
have
but,
arrived. Streets have arrived. That's because on Friday, this topic was brought up at length. Again, we're going to end this portion of it, but like it was brought up at length, and I know that Crab and I were definitely going back and forth with like what it means and everything else. And again, this is not me saying that I think that Macca, especially since Macca wasn't a part of it. I'm not saying that Macca needs to be not be a part of the club or that we shouldn't have Argentinian players a part of this club simply because of the culture and obvious almost accepted mentality that they bring to with their opinions on ethnic relations. But what I am saying is that
But for me, 12. This.
Absolutely. And I respect your Scraps, by the way, 1,000% for sure.
I just wanted to say about the Argentina thing about the world is like a big pot, and what happens every day in the news and social media, there's loads of racism topics. This happened here, this happened here, this happened here. And what it is when sports people and say pop stars do it, it's got a bigger stage because everyone knows these guys, So for me, when a sports guy does it, of course it's wrong, no doubt. But this world loves race topics because it splits people.
Oh yeah, it makes topics. It gets you. It becomes very. It's a tribal conversation when it comes to it. I just think that I don't think it takes much. I'm gonna say. I'll allow you to say what you gotta say.
I just want to say I'm at that stage of this topic where it don't really affect me no more, like it used to say back in the days. But because I know it's like it's a bad thing, and people are getting involved in a topic that's got nothing to do with them. For example, like I don't support Argentina. None of my family are Argentinian. But what that guy did in that song, fair enough, is very bad. But I think the media love putting loads of salt and pepper on it because they love talking about race topics because it splits people. That's all. That's why I don't really get involved in that topic.
And that Trap Joe, I get it. It says don't get too upset. The world is a dark place, blah blah blah. And things are slowly changing when it comes to racism. I get that. And Rasta Krop has to say the whole Argentinian team should come out and condemn it. In his opinion, that's all I was. That's okay. Well, crap, we're on the same page then. That's all I was saying. If anything, I was saying that I was disappointed that I didn't hear especially the more prominent names such as McAllister, who's become more of a prominent name because he's a Liverpool player, and also obviously Messi because he's just Messi. I want to see these players come out and condemn it. And again, I brought up what happened with the vice president of Argentina, the vice president, not the literal vice president, the vice president. He's a VP of some position. There's many VPs of a FA.
No, they're like a minister. There was like a minister, a government minister type. But there was a woman as well. She was a female minister as well that came out and said nah, fuck those guys. Which is great. That's what we. No. I don't mean it was cool. No, she meant fuck those guys that are getting offended. That song is right.
I thought she.
She was like, no, listen, what's wrong? She came out and saying all these French people get offended when people point out the truth and the facts to them, and she's like a government minister.
See, that's the thing about it. That's
also
what I was saying. Why
though.
I say it's easier for, and this is again, I'll allow for. We'll go quickly to have one last say on this, but to make sure that you do. And if you don't want to say anything, that's cool. But what I was going to say is that with that kind of comment, that's the reason. That's one of the reasons why I have issue and problem with that. Look, if I emulated to Argentina and I went through the whole process of trying to become an Argentinian citizen, and this is coming from a person who has a best friend who is Argentinian, okay? And I don't want to go, just because I have a friend doesn't necessarily give me a pass or something to say the statement. But I'm just saying that if I were to go and apply for citizenship to Argentina, and let's say I happen to get it, That would make me Argentinian. But it's the same thing as with these players that have emulated, to France. They're French now. I get that they have roots in Cameroon or Angola or wherever country they've come from in Africa, but they're French. They're French citizens, and they've said it too.
Every French player they sang about, every black player that's in the French squad right now is born in France. There's not one of them that was born in Africa. They're all French. No, they're not French citizens. They're born in France.
Right. Oh yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
That's the difference too. That's the difference.
These people were literally born in France, and they were making a joke about them. So the only thing I'm going to say on the end of it, look, are you a racist or not? That's it. Are you a racist or not? If you are, then I don't want you at my club. Okay? So fly whatever flag you want to fly. McAllister, Messi, Enzo Fernandez. Are you a racist or not? If you are, get the fuck out of my club and get the fuck out now. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't obfuscate and make bullshit apologies. Come out and say what you really think, and then we all know what you are. And if you are that, then we don't want you on it, because Liverpool stands against everything.
Right.
Even before you get to racism. Everything that even gets close to racism is not acceptable at Liverpool. So that's it. Even tacit support, which means not criticizing someone who's done something racist, means fuck off. As far as I'm concerned, come out and condemn it and stand against it, or leave the club.
I just the last portion of what I wanted to say was just that. Look, they're French. Look, it's sad because they deal with it in their own countries. If the French teams wins, they've said, I've heard this statement quite a bit. If the French teams win, all of a sudden they're French. If the French team loses, all of a sudden they're African. That is horrible. Exactly. That is horrible. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to get across, is that if you are French, it's just that you're French. Period. Cool. Let's move on. Like Nico Williams, we talked about him earlier. Nico Williams is someone whose parents weren't born in Spain, but he represents Spain right now.
I've been to Spain loads of times. There's no black people in Spain that are Spanish, right? Right. Exactly. That's just not a thing. This is really new. And someone brought up there earlier on about countries getting better, and this stuff is just like shit. I live in Ireland, right? And Ireland in the last 20 years, right? So that has become 1,000 times more racist than it was in the 1980s and 90s. So things aren't getting better. Things are getting worse when it comes to racism. Ireland was never a racist country. Ireland every night this last 2 months, there's riots going on about getting immigrants out of our country in Dublin. Ireland has become massively racist in the last 20 years because of Facebook and because of social media. It's not getting better. For all those people out there that think it's getting better, it isn't. It's getting worse. Sorry to have to tell you.
Mm-hmm. Social media has made it worse. People repeating videos, sharing it all around the world. Some idiot doing something, then they're gonna think, yeah, it's cool. But that's the bigger picture. We've seen right wing all around the world, political groups in each country all start winning their elections and stuff. Okay, in England, Labour just won, but it's a thing now. It's they want us to have a big fight with each other, and that's why football players doing something iffy like that, boom, they're going to highlight it.
Well, let's move on. Unless Lee, you have something you want to say in conclusion, I was going to move on to something a little bit more positive, actually.
A little bit more lighthearted. Yeah, we can move on. We can change tack very quick.
We can't. We're not gonna end on this.
No.
What I wanted to bring up here is a noble and a positive. We're speaking on things such as, let's bring a little hope to the world. Basically, there is a charity event. I know I mentioned it in yesterday's our last broadcast at least. and I couldn't think of all the players that were going to be involved in it and the likes off the top of my head at the time, because I had posted it on my Twitter account, but I just couldn't remember it off the top. Anyways, long story short, this is the charity event. It's the LFC Foundation Association with the Pittsburgh Penguins are presenting an evening with LFC legends. It's going to be Ian Rush, John Barnes, Natasha Dowie, Sammy Hippia, and Gary McAllister are going to all be at this event. Should be a cool event to be able to take part in. I believe it's the day before the game, I want to say. I think it's like the actual night before the game, which will be really, really cool. If you are in the Pittsburgh area, or if you are able to go to that, hey, definitely go and support that. It's if anything, you know what, it helps raise funds for creating positive atmospheres for the youth organizations here in America, and also connected to Liverpool and the efforts that they do here in America as well. But it's an opportunity to see these players, see some of these legends that we spoke on earlier.
Great lineup.
Yeah, I think I saw
great
that
lineup.
wow.
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking. Great lineup. Ian Rush, John Barnes. Come on.
yeah. Maybe
You can't get better than that.
Yeah,
Decent
you play your cards right. Maybe he picks up the mic and starts giving you a little Anfield rap or something like that, or maybe he puts down some freestyle for you. Who knows?
I've seen a few of those boys, do the round. They all do the rounds. They do the tours, But I've never seen Hippia. I've seen Rush and Barnes is always on telly, but I've never seen Hippia do stuff since he left. I've never really seen him do stuff.
That's true.
I'd like to see. It goes back to the earlier segment with Coleman. I mean, it's a delicate dance that you have to do with your legends, but I think that when you involve and keep those players involved with the club, I think it says a lot about the foundation that you created for an environment you have for your club. It also says last point is that it also creates somewhat of a drawing power. It's what we're talking about Trent possibly hopefully it's all BS, but Trent possibly going on to Real Madrid, I'm hoping that he finds his Steven Gerrard moment and says, hey, I want to become a legend here. I want to help cement a legend. And he is already created that foundation, but solidify that, become a captain, lead the team on to higher aspirations and accomplishments. And that's something that these players have all done. And that's something that the reason why that people hold such a heart for these players. Go ahead.
And you know what, bro? I think Liverpool are the only club, like Gary McAllister. For me, a lot of people remember him for Leeds United.
Coventry,
not really Liverpool.
I remember him Coventry, to be honest with you.
Yeah, even Coventry, yeah. So for me, that's how big we are as a club. We have a big heart. We allow players who even played for other big teams to come back playing legend games. Like David James, he works for Man City at the moment. I've seen him doing shows for them, half time, before the game.
That's interesting. And then Tarmizi went to an event with him too. That's interesting.
Yeah, and the next day he played in the Legends game. The last one that we just had. The day before he was at the Man City game with the mic and stuff.
Okay.
And then the next day he was in
I might have an issue with that. I'm about to say, I might have a little bit of an issue. I might have a little bit of an issue with that. But
same man, bro. I was a bit pissed off.
Do you remember the David James Armani shots and that
let's not talk about the budgie smugglers there now. That's
we were called the Spice Boys. JMO wasn't really labelled with that, but Bob McAtee, Redknapp being in an Eternal video, got them the label of the Spice Boys, didn't it? Just doing it in the video.
Well, the white suits kind of finished it off. The white suits at the 96 Cup final kind of sealed the deal on the Spice Boys thing.
How about I'll ask you real quick.
But just quick. I'll just quickly.
Oh, okay, good.
On
And then I have a
just on
question.
that,
Mhm.
yeah, one of my friends, he's a head chef in the west of Ireland. I won't say
Mhm.
in the Galway area, and he's been running this shop there now for a while. And the last 2 years, it's where the Man United players, because it's a hotel and it has a golf course, which is kind of basically, and you have to have it. And it's a nice, nice restaurant, lovely hotel, but it has a golf course, and it's in a very kind of quiet part of Ireland.
Mhm.
And it's what he's had basically gigs, schools, Inns, the Sharp. That's the hotel that they use for the Man United guys, where they come to Ireland and then they go into Galway for the night and they'll do a meet and greet. They'll go for drinks with fans.
Mhm.
They'll do it won't be the not even the high level ones that get filmed for YouTube. They'll literally be going to a hall somewhere. They'll do a meet and greet with fans, Q&A, uh, tell a few stories. Then they all go back into town. They'll go somewhere, have a few drinks, maybe, or they'll have drinks there. But they always stay in his hotel. So he knows exactly because he's heard they get paid about 2 grand per meet and greet. They're
Wow.
called club meet and greets.
All right.
So the likes of a
Mhm.
Lee Sharp, like the hotel is free, the golf is free, the tax, everything is free. But it's around like if you're Paul Scholes, it's a little bit more.
Mhm.
Paul into it, but that's what they're
Mhm.
doing. They're getting around maybe. So what they're looking at is basically you're getting a free weekend in Ireland, and you're meeting up at Roy Keane. You're meeting up with your buddies from the '90s, basically, right?
Right. Right.
But a
Right.
lot of
Maybe
these
get
guys,
around the golf. Yeah.
yeah, but a lot of these guys, man, they stopped earning 20 years ago. Okay, you're on 40
Yeah.
grand a week. You must be a millionaire. Yeah, but you stopped earning 20 years ago, right? So these boys, even Scholes, Lee Sharp, 2.5 grand per night, well, per Q&A, per meet and greet. And like I said, free round of golf, the hotel is yours. You come back. They love it. They absolutely, he said they fucking love
Good.
coming over to Ireland because
Good.
nobody knows them. They get left alone. But like that's the kind of money you're looking at for these ex pros is a weekend come over. That's 2.5 grand for free.
Mhm.
Flights paid, accommodation paid, hospitality paid, and then
Yeah, I
two.
think that's the reason why we have.
Yeah,
I think that's the reason why you see some, in at least in Holland, especially, you see some of the kind of angst that they have against some of the, you know, newer players that are getting this kind. They're making
yeah,
this
yeah.
generational wealth that they're creating or
If
getting
you
in these.
stop playing just before that time where it went nuts, you were
Yeah,
looking. Yeah, you were looking at.
that's
I
what.
was
Yeah,
on 800 quid a week, and that guy is shit,
Players
and he's
start
on 20 grand a week.
a lot of ex-players from the 60s got jobs like working for like breweries and stuff, didn't they? As
Mhm.
like ambassadors.
Anything,
Ambassadors. Yeah,
anything's good.
exactly.
There's a statistic that it's a 2-year-old statistic, but
Mhm.
it's still in the 20s. That 46. Oh, you know me and my number. It's 46% of footballers, ex-professional footballers at any level. 46% of them will go bankrupt within 5 years of retiring from football at any
Yeah,
level.
right. Yeah,
46% of them will go bankrupt within 5 years
yeah.
of finishing playing, even if you're earning 80 grand a week.
Yeah,
The chances
there's
are,
I
yeah,
think it's called Baller or some. There's a segment over. They did a segment on ESPN about like, you know, the players, and I'm talking about some phenomenal earning players here in America that going broke, that are that
you
file for bankruptcy.
yeah,
Yet
spend a lot of money.
sign, yeah, at the time, especially at the time, sign these incredibly lucrative deals and like have contracts with, and that's just on what they make from the club. They make, sign these deals with the shoe companies and the likes. And Allen Iverson, one of my favorite players of all time. Um, he, if it wasn't for his Reebok deal, Allen Iverson would be broke right now. It's kind of crazy to say that, but I mean,
Well,
but
when you
because
earn big, you spend big, right?
yeah,
And then all of
yeah,
a sudden, your contract ends, and within a day, you go from earning $250 a week to earning
mhm,
nothing.
to earn nothing.
And you've been
And you have
living
entourages. You're not, yeah, you have
you've
entourages.
been living a $250K a week lifestyle.
Yeah,
A lot of players
yeah,
in the old days had to sell their World Cup medal or whatever
that's
for their
scary.
family,
That's
money for
scary.
their
Yeah.
family. Like a lot of them England players, I think, sold their World Cup medal for the money.
Bad management, people screwing them, agents.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the music
Agents,
industry.
financial, even
Yeah.
even their financial, the people they have, their financial officers that they have working. Sometimes, you think, oh well, you're just going to put it in someone else's hands and you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, you're trusting that person with your money. So
That's
if you don't,
why we're better off with the likes of the Mrs. Mammy Rabio and like Trent's brothers and sisters. It's like,
yeah,
well, yeah, maybe actually, yeah, that's the safest place to be is with your family, and if they can do the good job, I mean, they
It's the
they
right
get
way to be as well, in my
educated in stuff,
get your
and
family involved and do it. You know what I mean?
that can go wrong the other way as well. Like Paul
certainly, there's
Pogba,
no guarantees that you're. I mean,
yeah,
Pogba,
his
and
own
players.
brother kidnapped him.
Yeah, exactly.
I
There's
mean,
no
it can go
guarantee
bad
that
in a
just because they're a
very
family
wrong way.
member that they're
Yeah,
going,
yeah,
or family or friend that they're going to,
obviously an
have your
extreme
back.
example.
Yeah.
People are people.
In the
I have a
main,
question. I have a question, Lee. I have a
Cool.
question, real quick, and it's for the panel, and it's also for the chat. Seeing these, you're at this event. Let's say hypothetically, I get you a ticket. You're going to this event, but you can only get a photo opportunity with one of these people, one of these players. Who are you getting the photo op with out of these 5 players?
Barnsley, because I was a winger. I've already told you, I was a winger in
Yeah.
football. I'm a
Okay.
fullback. Not really good enough to always be a winger. I had to play fullback for the school, but I was a winger. And we haven't had an exciting winger for years. We'd had Craig Johnson, but Ronnie Whelan used to play wide left before John Barnes took the Wales role, and he's a totally different type of player.
All right.
Craig Johnson was a winger, but he wasn't a John Barnes winger. He was kick and run winger. There wasn't really
Mhm.
any one. So when Barnes came in, it was dead exciting. And Beardsley, not forgetting Beardsley, but it was just a new thing. It was a new thing we were just such a more entertaining team when he
Okay.
arrived. After the picture with Barnes.
Okay. All right. So Barnes got you got your picture with Barnes. Okay. JK, who are you going? Out of these guys and girls, or ladies and men, I should say, who are you getting your picture with? And again, in the chat, tell me who. If you guys, I want to hear who you guys are getting your picture with too. And I'm putting up some good money for you get this ticket to go to this thing. So, right. Who you're getting? You got an opportunity to take a picture and get your photo op. Who are you getting your photo op with?
For me, Ian Rush, because
Ian Rush.
he's the number 1 goal scorer. He is top draw.
Legends. They're all legends.
Yeah.
But yes.
Legend.
Yes.
What a guy.
Definitely certified. Okay. Ian Rush for JK. Irishman. Who are you getting?
Signed Rush around the time I was like 13, 14. I might have picked Rush, but it was just the circumstances of Barnes being a winger and such a good. It was just dead exciting.
Okay. Irishman, who are you going with?
Well, they've taken. I'm gonna say it as a they've taken 2. So I'm gonna say they've taken 2. I'm gonna have to be different. So I'm looking at Barnes is gone and Rush is gone. So that leaves Hipia and Ian Dowie's daughter. Is it? Is she like his? Is that
She's a player too. Yeah, former player.
Yeah. And then who's the other one? There's another Liverpool player there, right?
McAllister.
Yeah.
Oh, McAllister. Oh no. Oh look, sorry, Gary Mack. I mean, yeah, whatever. Yeah. But no. Yeah, out of the 3 that's left, I would go with Sammy.
Oh,
yeah. Sammy. I
was gonna say, especially since you just said the fact that I was thinking you'd probably go with him because you said he doesn't show up at many events. Period.
Yeah, exactly. Sammy's got that. I love Sammy. Sammy's a real legend. Like I say, you never When's the last time you saw an interview with Sammy Hippier? You know, you get all these talking heads that, like, I mean, Jason McAteer, you can't move for seeing Jason McAteer talking. Johnny Aldridge, I mean, I love him, you know, but you never hear Hippier. Honcho, he's another one you never see. And they were at the heart of that 01 treble season.
Very sparse with his words, Sammy, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. He went to Leverkusen and actually, yeah, well, look, he did brilliantly. But I think we let go of him maybe a bit too early. But yeah, he's a real kind of an enigma, maybe. Yeah, you don't see interviews with that guy. And they were right. Like, he was like that 01 treble, the Houllier treble. Him and Honcho, you know, you never see interviews with those guys. And they were right at the heart of it. Like,
okay.
Them two with Babel right back. And,
yeah, Marcus Babel was there. Then he got that disease, which was horrible. But Risa was left back. He came in that year. You know, that's great. But yeah, you just never see those guys. You know, you always see the usual suspects on the Legend Tours.
Sure,
but they won big trophies. They were in huge games.
Sure.
You know, a couple other people maybe from that era that don't come around that much. But Sammy would be one of those guys you'd imagine getting a few vodkas. He'd have some great stories.
Have a couple.
You know, those Finnish guys. Yeah,
well,
he's
I'm sure Ian Rush has got some interesting stories to tell too.
Oh, they were picked. Yeah. No,
those are different. Those are different days.
If I was the first choice, if it was my first choice, I would have probably said photo op. Oh God, Barnes and Rush. That's a horrible choice. That's a horrible choice.
It's tough.
That's a real horrible. Yeah, I couldn't pick. Barnes or Rush. I mean, two absolute. You talk about legends.
That's what Jimmy said too. Jimmy said this is a tough call, but he's going with Ian Rush.
Okay, I'll go Rushy then. But Barnes and Rush.
Dustin went Barnes though. Yeah. Dustin went with Barnes. Yeah.
As good as it gets. Legends.
I was wondering. I was
wondering
who Bernie would have. We've got like a lot of number. We've got a high number of heads in the chat here watching us. So yeah, I was wondering. Philip went with Rush as well. Yeah, put in who you'd go with. Like as in, you know, you don't have to worry about that. You know,
no love for Gary Mack.
We already in line getting pictures with them. You know, but you can definitely I'd love to see who you guys would.
Well, I just said no love for Gary Mack, and Jimmy just put in some of Gary Mack's goals are class. He was class. He was. Gary Mack was class, but he was like 35.
Yeah, I like Gary Mack.
I mean, Rush and Barnes. How lucky are we to have had like? I mean, for most other clubs, to have one of a player like that, we had two of them. I mean, they scored about 1 billion goals. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Barnes was crossed in '89 at Wembley after we lost to Arsenal and lost the league. Then we went to Wembley and won the cup. And it was Barnes' cross on Rush's head. I loved it. It was just one of those.
I'm trying to think of what year was that kit that they're wearing? Do you know what year that kit was?
What they're wearing in that year? That's 89, I think.
Is that 89?
Yeah, 89.
Well, the one that Rush is wearing isn't the same one that Barnes is wearing, I think. I'm looking at this from very far away, I think.
It looks like it looks very because the Adidas is the 3-leaf Adidas one. And then it looks like
but the shoulders look different.
You had I think the plain red candy one, and then you had that one with the white sort of marks in the candy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if I can see it.
Yeah, I can make it. Let me see if I can make it bigger.
But I love that kit, the Adidas candy kit. Well,
oh yeah, peak Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
There was no question, Luke B. There was no question. The question
Luke B. The question was
which pair would you want to meet?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Oh, go ahead, JK. Go ahead, tell me the question.
Yeah, it was just like, who would you take a photo with? Out them 5 guys there, 5 people.
5 people. Yeah.
Yeah. Quickly rephrase that.
Yeah, exactly. Out of 5 legends here, which person would you take a photo with? Like, as in, you can only take one photo. You can only get in line and take one photo. Obviously, the lines are going to be long for all these all these legends here.
Yeah.
You got to stand in line for just to get your picture. What line are you going in? What line are you going to pick?
It's at least 45 minutes of a queue.
Oh, easy.
At least
Easy.
45 minutes.
You don't get. Oh my goodness. And there's no talking. Just pictures. Have your camera ready.
No talking. No autograph.
talking.
Yeah.
No talking.
Yeah, no talking.
Trust me on that. You'll know how many times I had to say that on the weekend.
But Ian
Everybody wants to
Dowie,
come up and start talking, giving trying to. This is my big opportunity. I'm gonna tell you about how I felt when I was 16 years old. And I was no. There's like 75 people behind you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hurry
You're
up.
not trying to say you're until sign up.
Take
He's
your
heard it all before. He doesn't care. Take the fucking picture.
Oh man, Luke B is gone.
What are you going to ask for? 12. Are you going 12 to this?
I would like to. I would like to be able to go, but that's in Pittsburgh.
Uh-huh.
If they do one in Philadelphia, I'll do it. I'll definitely do
He
it. But I
doesn't
think
go. Yeah,
If
he
you
doesn't
did
go
that,
to
that'd be
Pittsburgh.
cool.
Yeah, he doesn't go to Pittsburgh. I'll do it Philly, but I ain't going to Pittsburgh. Yeah.
You're gonna go-
No.
that should be like- that sounds
No.
like a
Much
TV
love
show.
to Pittsburgh. I
Gotta go to Pittsburgh.
like Pittsburgh. I like Pittsburgh. Don't
I
get
know.
twisted.
I mean,
I'm messing.
no,
I know.
He
No,
changed his
I
you know
name.
why they're doing it too, though, is because it's connected to because FSG owns the Pittsburgh Penguins. I think that's why they're doing this event because it says it's connected to the Pittsburgh Penguins too.
There's always a reason.
Yeah, but yeah. Oh, I would go certainly. I mean, who knows? Maybe Mary Lemieux's there. I don't know, something like that. Sure, but
12
that's
should go.
that's a Penguin shout. That's a Penguin shout. But yeah, no, I would love to go to this event, but yeah.
How far is that from you, bro?
From if it's from Philadelphia, it's about I want to say it's like 5-hour drive. It's about a 5-hour drive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not an easy commute. Especially since I'm flying in. I'm basically flying in just for the game, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still a long flight from this side of America to the other, basically. So
how long is flight is it, mate?
I think it's like
a
7-hour flight, something like that, 6-7-hour flight.
Yeah.
And then that's if you don't. That's if it's a direct. That's if you have a direct. I actually have a stop with a little bit of a layover. So it's gonna be like a little bit of a pain. But I'm making the commute. I'm making it because there's gonna be a lot of people involved with the YouTube community here that are gonna be out for the game in Philadelphia. So I'm excited to see some people that I only get to engage with via YouTube. So it should be fun to do that. I'm also going to try to put together a vlog for you guys. So I'm definitely going to try to do that. I'm not certain if I'm hopefully on the side with the actual benches. I'm not certain if I'm on bench side or if I'm on the opposite side of the benches, but the one I'll say it out loud. The one crappy thing about it being held at a American football stadium is that it is the stadium is set for American football. So it's not like you don't have a low angle. It's not like you're pitch level with it, but you that is under the assumption that they don't put. Sometimes they do put stands in the actual on the grass. They'll put removable stands on the actual grass. Sometimes on the pitches for some of these games. For sometimes these types of games, but I don't think they'll be doing that for this particular game. So yeah, but I'll hopefully be able to get some good photos. Maybe meet a player here or there, or meet someone connected to the team. Hopefully, represent. Tell them how everyone in the crew here loves what they do.
Time to come on the show,
Yeah,
you got
try
to
to get
get 12
some
man thing.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah. Oh, I'll definitely. I'll have no shame whatsoever. I'll make it be like, make it be like, yeah. Looking forward to seeing you on the show. Whoever I get to meet.
Mm-hmm.
Just like,
Sammy Hippie is on the quiz next week.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Big up Cedric. Big up Cedric. Safe travels, definitely for sure.
Take care,
Hello,
Cedric.
Marion.
Take care,
Marion's
man.
joining the crew here. Big up, Marion.
Hi,
Yeah,
Marion,
Marion
yeah.
came in about it.
Yeah, Marion, Philip, you guys
Yeah,
gotta tell
loads
us.
of people.
I'd
Loads
like
of
to.
people.
Oh yeah, sales are. Hey, we're up in the club chilling.
Hey, does that
Yeah,
football?
yeah, exactly. Marion and Philip, I would love to hear who you guys are taking. Who out of this crew right here, who out of the 5 you guys are taking a picture with? If you guys got an opportunity to take a photo, and meet, I'd love to hear who you're taking a picture with. But
Gary Mack ain't getting no love, really, is he?
Gary Mack's not really getting any love. I know.
Okay, I've got another question. Which one would you put in our team right now? That'd be a better question. Yeah. I'm going Ian Rush
Not
straight away.
Hippier. Not Hippier.
Not Hippier. I'm going Rush.
We're
Gold
okay.
Why? Why not
Not
Hippie?
McCall. No, I'm just working through this in my own.
Okay.
Can I pick one?
Okay.
Not Hippier because we're okay for centre halves. Not McAllister because we're okay for McAllisters and midfielders. So then we're talking about 2 of the best players ever to play the game, Barnes and Rush.
Mm-hmm.
So who do I put? I know JK went straight to Rush. But Barnes.
Is it a Diaz?
Jeez, man. Oh.
Yeah.
Again, this is like this is how good the
it.
players we've had.
This
is how good the players we have had.
You got to rip the Band-Aid off.
Oh,
yeah.
Do you want Ronaldo or Messi?
Yeah.
Do you want Ronaldo or do you want Lewandowski or do you want Barnes? I mean, yeah, right now goals, currency. Oh, you'd have to go. Jeez, I'd probably go with you, JK. I'd probably go Rush because you're talking about a goal scoring machine, but at the same time, I'm not going to argue even for a half a millisecond with anybody who picks Barnes because that's how lucky we are. That's a great question. Right now, which of them? But yeah, I'd go Rush.
No one's going with Dowie.
Yeah, there you go.
He's going with Dowie. I'm taking
Dowie.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, JK's going Dowie. Yeah.
There you go.
She's not a bad centre forward, like her uncle Ian. Like she was a centre forward, and she scores a lot of goals.
Yeah, she's a talent. She is a talent.
He got a degree in science.
Don't doubt it. Don't doubt it.
Lee, who's your choice, though? Who's your choice, too, by the way?
To be picked.
To JK's question.
No. To be put
right
in the team, bro.
Right now in the team, go one of those players right now in at their peak, obviously. At their peak, obviously.
Yes.
Not right now. Not Gary McAllister right now.
Yes,
okay. Because we've got Salah, Diaz, and Gakpo as wingers. I'm not going to pick Barnes. I'm going to pick Rush to score all them lovely goals.
There you go.
We've got Nunez at the moment as our recognised number 9 centre. Jota and Gakpo aren't really number 9s, are they? Although we can play there. So I'd be having Barnes. I'd be having Rushy for his goals, rather than Barnesy, because we've got Mo and Diaz already and Gakpo.
Yeah, that's the issue, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've got an answer for myself, too. So you want Rush? You guys want... Did you guys all go?
I think we've got 3 rushes. Yeah, I think we've got 3 rushes, and
see, that's the whole thing about it. I go with Sammy. I would go with Sammy. You know why? Because I think that's the one thing you can say is that he was reliant, like as in you could trust in him. Obviously, he's one of the best center backs we've had in our history. But can you imagine having Virgil van Dijk next to Hippier? And people might say, well, they both play on the left side. You can
no, forget that. But if you're upgrading,
you can move Virgil back to the right side then.
Yeah, forget that. No, but if you're upgrading you're upgrading at centre half, okay, but you're still at the expense of a Barnes or a Rush.
I
get that, but I mean, I'm just saying. Imagine if we had that center back pair.
Yeah, I can imagine it.
Yeah, I know.
I can immediately imagine it.
But I'm just trying to say
Rush.
that if we had that center back pair, guess what? I don't think that we're giving up a lot of those, those opening goals, a lot of those goals that we had, I think that we would have it on lock
Yeah,
if it came to our back.
But if you wanted to improve the team, I think you'd still, Barnes or Rush does more than Hipia. It's a brave shout. I admit, it's a brave shout. It's a brave shout.
When you get your picture, Sammy, when you get your picture with the Irishman, remember what you heard.
No, Barnes, one of the greatest ever players.
I'm
Rush.
Yeah.
You know what Ian wrote there about John Barnes crossing the ball? I was reading it. John Barnes crossing the ball over to Darwin, and I thought he was going to write to nod them in to head over.
Yeah.
I thought, true.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have Barnes in the 8. You could have Rush in the 9. Like Gary Mack. I mean, Ian Dowie's daughter, right? Cool. Sure, she could do a job. But that's a good night out.
There, obviously change up some of the rules for the Premier League, I guess.
But I think that's a good night out. In fairness, like Barnes, Rush, Sammy Hipia, Gary McAllister. I think all those people have a few pints with you, have a bit of crack.
Yeah.
That
would be a good night out. By the way,
to chat rather than a photograph, like it'd be wanting to chat.
There you go.
I mean, Barnes is a bit of a weirdo, apparently, a bit of an oddball, but that's fine. Sammy Hipia, McAllister, Rush, full of stories, But Barnes apparently is a bit of an oddball, but that's fine. That's cool. Never met him.
Yeah. Daryl's going with Hipia. Yeah. All right, Daryl. There you go. Daryl and I are standing together on that one. I would have went with Hipia. I just think I have a concerted concept that, or belief, I should say, that if we had a center back pairing that was constant and production and constant, as Arsenal did this year, I think we would have more. We would have had a couple more W's on our list.
But I would counter that by saying if we had a striker that scored 28 goals, we would have had a hell of a lot more wins.
Yeah.
So a striker. If Rush comes in, has a massive season. We weren't that bad defensively. We didn't lose that many games. We lost a lot of first goals, but a difference maker like Rush. If you had 23, 24 goals, we probably win the league last season with the same defensive record. So, but it's a good look. Rush is up there, man. What is over 300 goals for Liverpool? So can't really argue with that. Barnes, I'd take them all. The only two, I think all three, Barnes, Rush, and Hipia, would walk into our current team. Barnes, in the case of whoever you want. Rush, definitely.
Agreed.
And Hipia, definitely. They'd all three would walk into our current team. McAllister might not, and obviously Mrs.
I don't think McAllister does.
Devin.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. Great sub.
Yeah.
But no, Daryl, we're not doing that, Daryl.
We're not doing that one.
We're not doing that,
Daryl.
We're not doing that one. We're not doing that one.
Mercy.
Do you know what I don't like? Is Ian Rush's goal scoring record is sort of overlooked by fans now because most of the goals.
How will we do this one? We'll do this one as the last question. Okay, I'm sorry.
Ian Rush scored more than Shearer, I think, just like what they were in division.
True.
He scored a handful of goals in the Premier League, as when he was 34 and 35 or whatever. But he never gets mentioned, Ian Rush.
No, he doesn't.
Rush came, I think, 10 years too early, maybe for the Premier League, Yeah.
All right, I have one last question, and then because we're on the tarmac here, the live bird is just set down. We're going to be letting everyone go on to their final destinations here, but Last question then, since we're not doing Daryl's question, but I'll do a variation of it at least, okay? Because we're not doing that. We'll go around the horn here. All right. We'll start with Lee, then we'll go Irishman, and then we'll go to JK. Start, bench, drop. I know there's 4. Obviously, one will be dropped along with the other drop, but start, bench, drop. These 4 players.
Me?
Last one. Yes, Lee, you're up.
Oh, the same boys. Oh, those guys. Okay,
Yeah.
right, sorry.
Real quick,
okay,
yeah.
right.
Well, this is the last one. Last fun little question while we sit here waiting for the doors of the live bird to open up.
Sorry, what's the actual question? Start these players on the screen.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's the same 4 boys.
Same
the
four,
ones we've been talking about.
same
Yeah.
4 lads. Yep.
Okay.
Start, bench, drop. Obviously, one will have to. You'll be dropping 2, but start, bench, and then drop.
Can I go last?
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
All right, no worries. Yeah, no worries. I see.
So,
Who's got the minerals to step up and take this challenge?
Okay, I'll start. I'll start Ian Rush.
Okay.
Bench Barnes.
Oof.
And then drop obviously McAllister and Hipia.
Okay.
But I'd be starting. Yeah, I'd start Rush because goals means prizes. So then Barnes on the bench because he has to come on, and then unfortunately I have to
you
bid adieu.
You gotta make big that's why they pay the big bucks. You gotta make big boy decisions.
and Hipia.
There you go.
So
I know,
you ready,
man.
Lee? Have you had time?
Yeah, Lee.
It is exactly.
This one
Lee,
is
to go?
Or Jake. Well, he wanted to go last. I'll let him go last. Go ahead, JK. JK.
Okay, I would start Rush, bench Barnes, and drop Hipia.
Wow. Okay.
And McAllister, obviously.
Obviously. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
Same as me.
Lee, are you ready, or do you want me to go? You want me to go next, or you want to go?
I'll drop Rushy to the bench because he was actually ill when he come back from your bench. So nobody knew he caught something.
We didn't. It was more of a. Okay.
Look, let him have it. Let him have it. Yeah, it's his call.
Was he sick? He came back. Sorry, what? He came. He had like an illness.
I believe he caught hepatitis C from a swimming pool. There was a tile that was like broken or some shit in a swimming pool, and he put his foot on it. His Italian swimming pool and got hepatitis C.
Okay.
I'm not saying people sick.
Jesus.
Little known fact.
Okay, that's certainly okay. Let's go with the prime before the pool
the non-hep C.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go with the non-pool incident, or
How unlucky is that? Like,
I want Rush without the pool incident.
Yeah, without the.
I know.
Fucking hell.
10 million on his feet, that is.
You go for a swim and you come back with hepatitis C. So what the fuck?
I think that's what made Brian May's hair turn grey. It happened to him as well, allegedly.
He did go grey very quick, didn't he? He did go grey, yeah.
So wait, are you doing? So what's it? So who you're starting? Who you benching? Who you dropping? No ailments. They're perfect. They're in perfect condition. Okay, they're in perfect shape and health. Who are you picking, Lee? Start, bench, drop.
Start, bench, Rushy, drop and Sasha Dowie.
The other two are fucked off, yeah.
All right. I'll bring up some of the chat's answers. Daryl brought up he would start Sammy, bench Rush, drop Barnes.
Dropping Barnes. How dare you talk about dropping John Barnes?
Philip said he would start Rush, bench Barnes, drop Hipia, and Gary Mack. Oh, wow.
It was us. Yeah.
Appreciate it, Daryl. Appreciate it. We're on the same wavelength today with the players.
I'm starting Daryl.
Yeah.
Start 12, man. Bench
You
Brian,
can drop
drop
me.
JK.
I'll come back.
Okay, yeah.
Start Daryl.
Okay.
No problem.
Oh man. Yeah, I would have. I can't go against what I did. I already said that I would have picked Hippia, so I would have
Sammy,
started.
obviously, yeah. So who's your bench?
The bench though would be the bench would be the most difficult one to do, but because
Barnes or
honestly,
Rush?
I want to put Barnes on my bench, but I'm gonna.
There you go.
But that
Gotta
would mean
drop Rush.
I know you would have to hear me
Yeah.
say I have to drop Ian Rush. Like,
Yeah, you gotta say it sometimes.
Yeah, I know that. That's
Say it
hard.
to him when you take a picture if you go to the show.
I love
Here's the
LA,
link to the
but
show.
I
Yeah.
don't love Ian Rush.
Don't love you. You're right.
I love you.
Yeah, man. Oh man, that's harsh. That is harsh. Dustin went Barnes, Hippia, Rush. Okay, so we start Barnes, drop or bench Hippia, and drop Rush, and McAllister. I almost feel bad. I almost feel like I should maybe at least put McAllister on the bench. Put Gary Mack on the bench. At least show a little love. He got no love today.
Yeah, but it's not about love. It's about.
I know.
The best. You're talking about like, do you want the best in the world or the best of the best in the world?
Yeah.
It's like, there's no shame in not being as good as Barnes. Like, nobody is as good as Rush.
That's a shout. Look at Ian.
I think Arnie would pick Gary Mack matching hairstyles.
Matching hairstyles. I just saw that. I saw matching styles. I didn't see matching hairstyles. That makes a little more sense now. That makes a little more sense.
To be honest,
Arnie's not a player.
Jimmy is someone who I want to hear. Jimmy is Rush.
Yeah, you want to see Jimmy's calls?
Bench Barnes, Hippia. I think I think that lands right basically around where everyone would be.
Yeah.
Happy
start Rush, bench Barnes, Hippia. Or they could start Barnes, bench Rush.
Yeah.
But I think it's Rush, Barnes, Hippia is what we're talking about here. We're talking Rush, Barnes, Hippia, basically. And I think in today's game, I'm just taking the goals. I'm taking that 23, 24 goal of the season striker. As good as Barnes was, that's what I'm taking is those goals, because we have the lot. We have everything else. Hippia would definitely be my third choice, but someone like Barnes, man, God. Like I'm so glad Barnes played for us, if that makes sense. Regardless of everything else, regardless of all the trophies, I'm just so glad that Barnes played for Liverpool. Yeah, because he was such an icon. He was regardless of what. Yeah, he's just a fucking icon, and he doesn't get talked about a lot these days. Actually, when people look back at the players. Only Liverpool players talk, only Liverpool fans talk about Barnes. Other football type people don't talk about Barnes. He was good.
They talk about Giggs more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was as good as anybody. I'm not saying he was better than anybody that you talk about. Barnes was as good as them, but he never gets talked about. Yeah. Never.
When Barnes had his Achilles injury and was turned into a central midfielder, remember when he would still do his winger moments right in the middle of the pitch where he'd have someone off just with pure skill.
Yeah.
But he'd just be like, and three people would just be like,
was that Barnes made people.
Barnes went that way. 4 defenders went that way.
Barnes made the kids want to be wingers in them days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how good he was.
I agree. That's a big shout. That's definitely a shout.
It's some outrageous angles, like where he was at the wrong angle. He'd like curl it in the wrong way, the opposite way round over the keeper's bloody head, instead of like going for the natural corner you'd expect him to. He'd go, I'm going to go for that different corner. And he did it to Seaman. I've seen him do it to some of the best goalies that there were at the time. He did it to loads of goalies.
Yeah.
I heard Barnes talking the other day about England and stuff, and he spoke proper common sense. And I'm thinking, why didn't he become a good manager then? It's like if he was just reviewing England from A to B, you know, A to Z, and he sounded proper, like he knew what he was talking about, and he actually made proper sense about the England team and the way they play football and stuff. And I was thinking, I'm really surprised he didn't really. He took the Celtic job, then after that he just petered out. You know, I don't really understand what happened to him.
It's not easy, as Frank Lampard. It's not easy to make the transition from being a player to being a coach. It's just not. It's just not.
Kenny Dalglish did it the best for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was also
did it
when you could be a player / coach. That was like that. That is.
I know. 12 man's being sarcastic there again with 12 about like we all know Lampard is an awful manager. But yeah, like Kenny did it. Like those days are gone. And I would love if there's anything I know it won't come back. And this is just me being indulging myself. And I've said it on here before, if there's anything I could bring back, I'd bring back player managers because that was so cool. Kenny Dalglish, Glenn Hoddle, Ruud Gullit, actual player managers. Like, can you imagine that today?
Yeah,
Actual player manager. That was so cool, man. That was pure 90s. Pure 90s.
One of his best moves was to, do Kenny as player manager. You know what I mean? That was his part and gift. You know what I mean? Bob Paisley. You know, it's like, all right, Fagan replaced Bob Paisley, but I think like Bob knew that Joe would only do it for a couple of years, like regardless of what happened. Like, and Kenny was earmarked wanting to be because he knew Kenny
Liverpool manager. Yeah.
I mean,
imagine picking yourself for a game.
Imagine
picking yourself for a game, like
you know what I mean, dropping yourself.
I'm not on it today. I'm gonna drop my note. I'm gonna start to Rushy. You're sitting down. I'm starting today. It's like what, dude? Come on, it just wouldn't fly today. But that was just what like that crossover from the 80s to the 90s. Ruud Gullit, you know, I think he was probably.
But they were all special players, Brian. Yeah,
exactly. Special players.
Special players. Proper football guys. Hoddle was big time. What a player. Even Matt Letizia. For me, very like the people talk more about his political views nowadays compared to his football genius. Like for me,
he's a bit of a nutcase these days.
Hoddle and Letizia were similar as players, mate. They had a lot of similarities.
Hoddle left.
Slightly different.
Hoddle left Letizia out of the 98. Hoddle was the manager for 98 World Cup. He left out Letizia and Gascoigne, which was a big deal at the time because Gascoigne was basically on the piss. He got pictured eating kebabs and he got dropped. But everyone's like, "Oh, it's Hoddle. He's going to pick the Hoddle type players." But he left Letizia at home. He left Gascoigne at home. You know, but again, that era of like, imagine like Kenny Dalglish. Imagine right now, tomorrow, you woke up and it was like, okay, the Liverpool manager is Virgil van Dijk. He's just going to be player manager Virgil van Dijk.
That'd be cool.
I would love it.
That would be so crazy. Like that's not that long ago.
I don't even know if they put that option anymore in the games anymore. They used to have it.
They don't. But it's not that long ago. Like I remember it. Like I was alive when it was happening. It's not that long ago.
Was Kaká? Kaká was a player manager too. Was he? Was Kaká one?
I'm not sure.
Kaká.
I thought you know, Brian.
Brazilian. No.
I thought Brian was going to say
because like when they had the I remember on the FIFA when you could choose, you know, you could be the manager or you could be the player / manager. Kaká was the actual photo that they used as the example.
Oh well, maybe they use a photo. Yeah, no, Kaká was never a player manager. No, that's way way before. I think the last ever who was like it was probably Jake. It was probably Hulla. I think right was the last player
Maybe, but
manager in the Premier League,
About Rouge, yeah. At Chelsea.
yeah.
and that's
Brian,
90.
I thought you were going to say
go ahead.
when you imagine you wake up tomorrow and Arnie Slot's the new Liverpool DM
Oh yeah.
to save a bit of money. Fuck it, give it him. He can do
He
the
can
job.
hold the fort. He can hold it
He
down
can hold
in
the
the
fort, no
six.
problem.
In the six. Yeah, he can
In
hold
the
it down.
six, man.
Yep.
Funny.
Well, we're gonna let you guys go, but you always remain in our hearts, obviously, because we are going to be returning tomorrow. Got some really good shows lined up for this week, so I'm hoping that you guys join us again. We're gonna have a Mount Rushmore show this week. We're gonna have also, obviously, I spoke on the actual on how like the Champions League is going to be working and how it's going to be affecting Liverpool and how what's going to be the way that we're going to be able to navigate and why we're even rated the way that we're rated in the Champions League drawings that we've come up with, the coefficient. That's what I'm thinking. I'm trying to get the word off the top of my head. Coefficient show. We're going to have some, we also have a really big show coming up next week too. So we're going to be preparing for that as well. But we'll wait till a little bit later on in the week to kind of get that little teaser out there. But we have some great shows coming up. So I'm hoping that you guys will show up tomorrow. Tomorrow we have,
you mean this Thursday, the 25th?
It is this Thursday.
It's this Thursday. It's not next. It's like
the day
after tomorrow.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
The Andy Cantwell show. That's the 25th. Yeah, that's
yes. It is this Thursday.
Tomorrow.
So you might as well start. Yeah, you might start teasing it now. Actually, then.
Well, yeah, we're going to do a Room 101. I don't know if anybody out there knows the old the format of Room 101, but we're going to do a Room 101 show on Thursday night, and we have a very special guest. He's an Irish YouTuber called Andy Cantwell, who's very popular. He does great stuff. He's agreed to come.
Funny,
yeah, he's going to come on and
all vibes. He's not tactical. It's all vibes.
Yeah, it's all vibes. He's going to come on, and if anyone's ever seen Room 101, what we're doing is a football version of Room 101, and it's going to be the three guys there. Lee's going to be doing it, 12th man. And Andy and I'm going to be the Frank Skinner, as it were. And you can do, like I said, you can do it all. You can see it, you can watch it, and get an idea what it's going to be. But yeah, it's going to be a really big night for the channel, I think. And Andy is someone that we've been looking to get on for a while. He's a really entertaining guy. So I hope everyone's around on Thursday night that can tune in and watch that one.
Yeah. So that's this Thursday. And like I said, we have some great shows lined up this week. So if you can, tell a friend to tell a friend, as they say, and be sure to let's try to properly represent too on Thursday, especially, let's represent every day, but especially when we have a big name guest joining us, definitely want to represent and show that, we have done our due diligence. So, Lee, is there something you want to tell the people before we allow for them to go on to their destinations?
Yeah, it's the usual one. Thanks, everybody. It's a good discussion tonight. Enjoyed hearing what people were saying and everything. It was interesting. Covered quite a lot of ground, and we got more to cover. There's so much ground to cover, isn't there, with the season approaching? We're not going to run out of ground to cover, are we?
No, not at all. JK, is there something you want to tell the people before we let them go?
Yeah, just press the like button, and it was good to talk about everything in football, and the season's going to come soon. I think in like 3 weeks, it's going to be kicking off, so exciting time.
And sorry about that, I was laughing at Ian's suggestion. And Brian, do you have something you want to say before we allow for?
No, I just said it all there. Just checking on Thursday.
just check us out. Yeah, check us out tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You know, we'll be here. We are here for you, definitely. A lot of those other channels, a lot of stations, a lot of those other, entities out there. Got everyone in a hissy and a tissy, as they say, or whatever, and got your head all in a wobble. But
because we're signing Mbappe, according to most of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though he's gone to Real Madrid, he's signing for us.
He's still signing for us in one way or another.
Yeah.
We can make it happen.
Yeah.
We can make it happen.
But shout out once again also to Quasi, who joined us earlier in the show. Pick up the Quasi.
Yeah, big up Quasi.
If you haven't signed on or subscribed to his channel, please do. And as always, the last thing I can say is certainly up the Reds, people, up the Reds. And see you tomorrow. All right.